FedEx Field.
Sports Center continues from FedEx Field in suburban Washington. The start of the college football season, well, it is finally upon us. The #1 ranked USC Trojans come east to begin defense of their co-national championship. Virginia Tech, a 5-hour drive from its Blacksburg, Virginia campus, will have more than its share of fans among the 92,000 plus that we expect for this one tonight. We'll kick things off in about 10 minutes. And tonight, we're also going to be putting ourselves, we're going to open the curtain and let you kind of look in, because we're giving you an unprecedented glimpse at how the game telecast is produced from the inside out. We'll have full game coverage here on ESPN, while over on ESPN2, we will have behind-the-scenes simulcast. In fact, that show has already started over on ESPN2, so you can flip back and forth now and anytime throughout the evening. Now, turning to the game, you certainly have heard by now that the eligibility of wide receiver Mike Williams was not reinstated by the NCAA following his unsuccessful attempt to gain entry into the NFL draft as a sophomore. Well, we've heard from Coach Pete Carroll and Mike Williams himself over the last few days, but now the Trojans say, hey, we're just looking forward to putting those questions behind us and getting on with the business at hand, and that is pursuing still another national championship. And for Virginia Tech, much fanfare in the offseason about their move to the Atlantic Coast Conference. But keep in mind Virginia Tech's disappointing finish last season. They lost 4 of their final 5 games. So they come into this with, you might say, a little bit of a chip on their shoulders, wanting to prove to their new conference and also to the country that Beamer ball will be alive and well in 2004. So there's plenty to chew on as we kick off the 2004 season, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes on ESPN and ESPN2. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Ron, thanks a lot.
Up and ready to go, just moments away. Leinart, the Trojans, looking to get off to a fast start. Trojans and Hokies just minutes away following Sports Center. Stay tuned. College football.
Thanks, guys. In the shadows of our nation's capital and on the eve of the Republican National Convention, tonight, politics takes a backseat to college football's opening night. Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Franklin, and welcome to Landover, Maryland. The co-national champions and the preseason #1 ranked men of Troy have come a long way to play their first ball game at this BCA Classic here in Landover as they take on the newest member of the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now, it goes without saying, both of these programs have had some off-season controversies. So let's go down to the field and take care of that business right now. Here's Reese Davis with more on those facts. Reese?
And Ron, there have been a lot of subplots surrounding these two programs. Trev Alberts, Mark May with me. I know you guys are ready to play a game on the field. We have to deal with the undercurrents first. Superstar wide receiver Mike Williams will not be here tonight. His career as a USC Trojan is over after the NCAA refused to reinstate his eligibility. Williams declared for the NFL draft after his sophomore season, dropped out of school, hired an agent. After court upheld the NFL stance that players must be out of high school for 3 years or more to join the league, Williams was then left to try to repay the money he'd gotten from the agent, pick up some credit hours in summer school, and throw himself on the mercy of the NCAA. And they were not sympathetic, Trev. What did you think about the decision to say that Mike Williams' career is over?
Reese, I think it was a regrettable decision, a terrible decision. Obviously, I don't agree with it. I think it was a callous and insensitive decision without regard to Mike Williams in this situation. But I think what bothers me the most was the disingenuous way in which they went about this whole process. I think USC and Mike Williams actually thought he would have a chance to restore his amateur status. That was never the case, Mark. And what bothers me the most is here we are, USC, #1 is not out on this field. Mike Williams should be out on that field right now.
I totally agree with you. The NCAA definitely dropped the ball in this situation. This was a golden opportunity for the NCAA to step up nationally and do something for the student athlete. They didn't. Mike Williams should be on the field to play. He is not. But let's go to the USC Trojans and head coach Pete Carroll. He's planned for this for over 5 months. When they knew in spring ball that Mike Williams could come back, they took that opportunity and told his players point blank, he may be here, he may not be here. Let's hope for the best, plan for the worst. All through summer training camp, they planned with Mike Williams not being on this football team. They're ready to go for this football game. They're very deep, very talented, not only at wide receiver, but at every position.
Mike Williams was warned by the NFL if they won this court case that they would not make any special concessions for him. We'll talk more about that at halftime. Mike Williams is not the only Trojan who is not here, though USC is very deep at tailback. The starter has been Herschel Dennis. He has been suspended indefinitely by Pete Carroll for a violation of team rules. Also not here, expected from last year, is tackle Winston Justice. He had an off-season incident which resulted in his suspension for the entire season. Virginia Tech has not been without problems either. Marcus Vick, Michael Vick's little brother, has been suspended from the university for the entire season following a couple of brushes with the law. Michael Vick's little brother pleaded guilty to 3 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, that stemming from a party involving underage girls. Then, after that incident, he was stopped for speeding and marijuana was discovered in the car. So Marcus Vick will not play this season either. It's certainly not good news when you lose a player of his caliber, but what can the Hokies find for a silver lining?
Great opportunity for Virginia Tech. A great opportunity for Brian Randall. Nobody's given Virginia Tech a chance. 3-point market, 18-point underdog. I promise you, it's the first game of the year. This is a close football game. It goes down to the fourth quarter. Then the depth of USC mark takes over, and USA wins with a very close game.
Well, as usual, you're wrong again. I totally disagree with you. It doesn't matter if Michael Vick, his older brother's playing, or Marcus Vick is playing in his football game. USC is too talented at football games. I saw these guys coming up the tunnel, and they were screaming and yelling at each other. I got pumped up and wanted to put a helmet on.
That's what the fans are doing right now. We're ready for some football. Ron Franklin will see you at halftime.
Okay, Reese, you know, no matter what, Frank Beamer's Virginia Tech squad is always going to be ready for a challenge. The Hokies will definitely have the house tonight, and right now, they have the floor. We are just moments away from the action as we get set to kick off another great season of Saturday nights.
Next time you...
Welcome back to Washington. Tonight, government takes a backseat to the gridiron because it's that time of year again. You can truly feel it in the air. There's something about the angle of the sun, the gentle breeze in the evening. All of a sudden, that favorite fight song begins to play in your head. School is definitely in session. The first sign is the silence, hanging over campuses across the country, as if waiting to be broken by the rustle of fallen leaves and the cheers of rising voices. The band sounds, signaling to player and fan alike the beginning is here. And stadiums in every state spring to life. The joyous cries and colors of college football explode across the autumn landscape. The seasons change, but the traditions, the rivalries, and the names stay the same, bringing communities together in a celebration of the game. And tonight, the new season begins with a team who is picking up where they left off, atop the polls at #1. The USC Trojans, still strong, take their first step in defense of a co-national championship. They begin their quest against Virginia Tech, ready to embrace the new season and carry on their tradition of Beamer ball to a new conference, the ACC. And now the summertime silence officially is broken as the 2004 college football season begins. Saturday. Tonight, the Virginia Tech Hokies take on the #1 ranked USC Trojans, the Black Coaches Association Football Classic. All season, the ESPN Saturday Night College Football will be broadcast in high definition, presented by Philips and Best Buy. Hello once again, everybody. Ron Franklin, and great to have you along. Welcome to Saturday Prime Time. And it was so much fun to sit here in the stadium just a moment ago and have the hair on the back of your neck go up because the kids have just taken the field. That's what is so fun about Saturday evenings. And think about it. This season, we've got so much more to talk about. In Lincoln, Nebraska, in the heartland, there's a brand new offense that people are going to be seeing, something that they have not really looked over ever since football started at the University of Nebraska. History is being rewritten in Starkville with a new head coach there. And the two co-national championship programs in Los Angeles and Baton Rouge have really issued the statement, hey, bring it on. We're ready to see this thing get started. We're ready to defend our titles. And it also means that my partner Mike Gottfried and I are reunited for a 13th season. That makes me very happy. And Michael, it's good to be with you again, my friend.
Good to be with you, Ron.
Mike, let's talk about a couple of issues that the guys were talking about down on the field. First of all, Mike Williams, not with Southern California. His career is done there. What really to you does that mean as far as the Trojans are concerned?
Ron, when we were out in L.A. 10 days ago watching USC practice, the coaches made a decision that time not to practice Mike Williams. So they prepared to play the season without Mike Williams. Now, the two questions I have on USC's football team is the wide receivers, the youth of the wide receivers, and the offensive line, because we're going to find out those answers here in a little bit.
As far as Virginia Tech is concerned, as we know, well-documented, Marcus Vick will not have a part in this season. It means that senior Brian Randall is the guy who will carry the mantle for the Hokies. What does that mean to you?
Big loss, because if you're Coach Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech, you don't want Brian Randall running many option plays. You don't want him scrambling much, because the drop-off is a freshman quarterback if Brian Randall gets hurt. So it changes the game plan a little bit.
So, Mike, let's draw a line. And what does that mean as far as this one here tonight?
This one, I think USC's defense is great. I think Virginia Tech's got to get a short field. They got to get defensive turnover, an interception, a fumble, a punt return, a punt block, or kickoff return to give them a short field against USC's defense.
Okay, Mike Gottfried, it is time now to introduce our newest member of the team, our third member who's down on the sidelines. Please say hello to Aaron Andrews. Aaron.
Ron, thank you so much. With a national championship under his belt and a preseason ranking to live up to, USC's head coach Pete Carroll isn't taking anything lightly. Now, hoping to minimize distractions. Last week, Carroll took his team to an LA hotel. He had them go to team meetings, go to team meals, abide by curfew, and watch film. He wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. And Ron, with 7 freshmen set to take the field tonight, Pete Carroll isn't taking any chances.
Well, you know, I'm not sure you can over-rehearse any kind of situation, and you've been a head coach. What do you think of that move?
No, I applaud the AD, Mike Garrett, because he gave Pete Carroll the permission, spent the money. You don't want something to happen at the hotel in your first away game to take away any kind of focus of your football team. I applaud Mike Garrett, and I applaud Pete Carroll for a great move.
Well, across the way, the 18th season for actually a guy who was a 3-year starter at quarterback at Virginia Tech, coaching at his alma mater, won last 8 season opening games. USC has won the toss, and they have deferred. The weather tonight, the biggest thing, we don't really have a threat of rain. However, the humidity is very high. In fact, it feels much higher than the 61% that is showing right there. But at least there is no rain in the forecast. Over 5,000 more seats have been added to FedEx Stadium, and they are filled tonight, so we should have in the vicinity, as you look at Eddie Royal, close to 92,000 people on hand for this one tonight. Eddie Royal, player of the year in the state of Virginia last year, and they really liked him, and he is what the coaches call electric. He makes things happen. Ryan Khalid will kick it off for the Trojans of Southern California, and we are just about set to get this one underway. To the 25 and now the 27-yard line, and that is where the Hokies will start. Mike, let's talk about the senior senior signal caller. He has had, what, all 13 games. He started last year. It's not as though that this is his first rodeo.
Ron, the way the season had gone for Virginia Tech, where they lost 5 of the last 7 games last year, I think there's a confidence issue with Brian Randall. He's got to get off to a good start.
The lone setback behind him is Cedric Hughes, who was injured in the spring, and they open up with 2 tight ends. We'll check over the lineups after this first play. Possibly an audible on first down. Play action. Nobody was there. Here comes pressure. And the wise thing, he simply throws it away. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Bridgestone. This is the way the Hokies will line up. It is Hyman and Clifton, the wide receivers. Humes and John Kinzer are the running backs. Jeff King is the tight end. One of 3 tight ends we'll see this evening. Martin, Butler, Montgomery, he was a guard. They moved him over to center. James Miller is the right guard, and John Dunn is the right tackle out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. So Mike, a broken play actually on first down. A case of early jitters here to start this ball game. As the tight end King sets up a slot out on the left side. They go motion. Here's option to the short side of the field. Randall has 5, has 10, breaks off the tackle, and it's going to be a gain of about 15 yards in the play, and then they make it a 16 yards advance.
Good ball by Frank Beamer. You like to run the option. You want to run it on the gun set so your quarterback, Brian Randall, gets a good look at anybody that's going to hit him.
So a first down picked up and a gain of 16 yards, and the new line of scrimmage is up to the 44-yard line for the Hokies. Had a very good start. And again, Randall is going from a shotgun formation. 7 men at the line of scrimmage as the corners have come up to play bump for the Trojans. Steps up into the pocket, going to go long. That man coverage, ball is overthrown and incomplete at the 24. Chris Clifton, redshirt junior out of Chesapeake, Virginia, is the man who the pass was intended for. And here are the starters on defense. Rucker, Patterson, Cody, and Jackson. Sean Cody, a preseason All-American on virtually everyone's list. Great group of linebackers. Grotegood, Tutupu, and Sarts are the 3. There will be others who will play tonight, very active. Wyatt and none of the corners. Bing and Leach, the secondary. And you'll notice these corners, and Mike will talk about it tonight, how they come up and jam, and they do a great job of not releasing the wide receivers.
Virginia Tech.
Rocky Good, a referee tonight out of the Southeastern Conference. And the Hokies have called a timeout. They had come out in an I formation as Kinzer, the fullback, had checked into the ball game.
Some of the things you see in the first game.
So we're going to step aside for just a moment. 14 minutes, 39 seconds left in this opening quarter. So we are back, and Mike Gottfried help us out here. It was head coach Frank Beamer who stepped up and called the timeout. What did he see?
Wrong personnel on the field for what play he had called, so he wanted to get the right personnel in.
So they go from the shotgun out to the I formation. John Kinzer, number 43, a redshirt freshman out of Fairfax, Virginia, lines up at fullback. Here comes a blitz from way off the ball, and the handoff goes to Hughes, left side. Nothing doing there. Comes up to make the tackle.
One thing you watch when you watch USC play defense, they're hard to handle in this front. They have 8 defensive linemen. You see all the penetration they get on. They're whipping the offensive line of Virginia Tech on that play.
Frosty Rucker, an interesting story, transferred from Colorado State. We asked him after that Saturday scrimmage what happened. He said it simply didn't work out. He has been confronted with he's been confronted with a toe injury. It didn't look like it on that play right there, though. And now here comes the flag. There was still 5 seconds left on the play clock.
Dead ball. Ball start. Number 52 on the offense. The penalty 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
The last thing you want to do do is get behind the chains on the USC's defense. They do a great job, like you said, of punching the receivers. Pete Carroll, a pro coach. The other thing I see that they do in practice better than anybody I've seen all year in the last year and before that is they strip the ball. They'll cause fumbles. They work at it.
Like we saw more drills that I guarantee you I had never seen as they go through with the down linemen and also the linebackers. You're right to take the football away. Flag is downstream. Team 40, 45. And he's going to step out of bounds at the 46. Now let's check the marker at the 38-yard line as Justin Wyatt, the junior out of Compton, California, is there to make the tackle.
Not enough men on the line.
Sometimes you get an alignment problem. That's what it's going to be.
Illegal formation. Only 6 men on the line. Number 79 was lined up in the backfield. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
Here's the thing, Ron, too. An SEC group, so both the Virginia Tech's used to Big East, now the ACC, USC's used to Pac-10 officials. They're going to call the tackle in the backfield a little bit differently maybe than it's been called before.
You remember when we were in Southern Cal after watching the scrimmage, I said to Norm Chow as a friend, I said, your tackle a lot of times is off the ball and SEC officials will call that. Because last year in the Auburn-Tennessee game, we saw 4 different penalties during that night for tackles that were not on the ball. As you look at Norm Chow up in the press box and calling the play. So now to make the point that Mike had made just a moment ago, even farther behind the chain, so to speak, as they have a 3rd down at 20 yards to pick up the first. Draw play. Humes right up the middle, 35, out of the 40, and almost back to the original line of scrimmage. And I'm not surprised that Frank Beamer was a little conservative. No sense in taking a chance on throwing and giving up a turnover deep in your own territory.
It's a good point, Ron. I want to make a point here about USC. They've been reading all about Virginia Tech special teams. They would like to send a message to Virginia Tech special teams if they could do something big on their special teams.
Mike, we are going to see absolutely 2 of the great punters in the country here tonight. The first one, Vinnie Burns. He's a senior out of New Orleans. Another flag is down. High spiral. This one turning over. And it's going to be the Bush at the 6-yard line. Bush at the far sideline at the 15. Cuts back into the middle to the 12. 52 yards in the kick and 15 on the return.
They might want to decline it.
So what we're waiting on here, if it's on an individual, you hear history in the making here tonight.
Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage against the offense. Number 49 was lined up in the backfield.
Now, I'll tell you right now, the man who was standing on the far sideline with his cap off.
Declined. Southern Cal's ball, 1st and 10.
The reason that Frank is so upset, he is not only the head coach, he is the special teams coach. And he's kind of kicking himself right now, but he doesn't believe that these officials are calling them. And you see the head linesman goes over to talk to him. But as we mentioned, the SEC and Bobby Gaston has made it very clear with these guys that if a man is off the ball, that constitutes only 6 men at the line of scrimmage. Matt Leinart, you have to say that he is one of the biggest preseason Heisman Trophy candidates, and they're going to start with both tailbacks in the backfield, Lindale White and Reggie Bush. No fullback on this one. Maybe they got a special play in mind, Mike. That's what we'll see. That's Bush, who goes out to the right side. But now here comes an audible from Leinart.
Quick screen.
Quick pass, screen ball, tip, almost intercepted, and it's gone. Baki is the man who hit it, and Roland Minor is the man who almost made the pickoff.
Good job. Matt Leinart makes the call at the line of scrimmage. And that good defense by Eric Green, also getting his hand on that football.
Well, you're right, Baki almost came up with that ball. 2nd down and 10. So Southern Cal with a different formation with Razzle Dazzle to open the night. Now they go with 1 tailback, and it's Lindale White, sophomore out of Denver Chatfield. He'll get the hand off on the right side, puts your head down. The hole runs over a defensive back, still running hard. and it's going to be a gain of 8 yards in the play, and it's going to be 3 more yards after the initial contact. Here the starting lineup for SC. Steve Smith and Chris McFoy are the wide receivers. Lindell White and Lee Webb are the running backs. Alex Holm, after missing all last year, is back at tight end. Baker, Drake, Khalil, the left side in the center. Matua, and the guy on the right side is Latui, and they simply call him Deuce. 375 pounds. Brought to you by Bridgestone tonight are the starting lineup. Gets the handoff again. Hit in the backfield, still fighting. Breaks off the tackle. Breaks another, and he's out. 50. Pushed out of bounds at the 45. 23 yards from scrimmage, and Darryl Tapp with an outstanding block in the play for SC.
Lindell White is a big cruiser. He's a Ricky Bell-type tailback. 754 yards rushing last year. He keeps his feet moving. Poor tackling by Virginia Tech. He ran out of tackles. Big first down.
Nolan Burchett is the man who got caught and got knocked over. Right now, 2 carries for 32 yards. And Mike Gottfried, in the scrimmage we saw in Los Angeles, that's exactly how they ran on the #1 defense of the Trojans. Pitch back goes to Reggie Bush. Turns the corner. Stiff arm going to be pushed out of bounds inside the 45 to around the 44. And let's check the starters on defense. Bud Foster, the coordinator. He's got Burchett, Jim Davis, and boy, the pros love him. He's really a good one. Jonathan Lewis at left tackle, and Darryl Tapp is the left defensive end. The linebackers, Anderson, Warren, and Baki. And in the secondary, here's where we've had a lot of changes and flipping. Jimmy Williams moves from safety to corner. Vincent Fuller was a corner. Now they've moved him over to safety. There's Bud Foster right there. 18th season as the Virginia Tech defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. 2nd and 7. Pass swung out. That may be a backwards pass. Bush gets it on the bounce, turns it upfield, and they did. They called it a backwards pass, and he very alertly picked up the ball on the first hop and took it down the field. And Mike, the defense may have relaxed just a little.
A smart play by Reggie Bush, because that was definitely a backward pass, and Reggie Bush is going to be used a lot in a lot of different formations. He has great hands. This ball is overthrown. See Reggie Bush going in motion. Here's the throw behind him. He gets a hand on it. Ball bounces right back to him.
Well, they got fortunate there. Tipped it, got it back to himself. Lined it in the pocket. Goes on top. Got a man. He is out of the back of the end zone. It is incomplete. And Chris McFoy, the intended receiver, and it looked as though that he might duplicate what he had last year, except last year his first completed pass was for a touchdown against Auburn.
Ronnie, he waited a little bit too long to deliver that football. You see, McFoy's running out of room. Mike Daniels, a rover, is in coverage. He was clearly beat.
They had the matchup that they wanted, didn't they?
They had it, and they didn't make it.
Reggie Bush comes into the lineup. Southern Cal continues to work on offense, about to go into 11 minutes to play in his opening quarter. 3 wide receivers set. And to the left is Dwayne Jarrett, a prized freshman. And the pass is to him and his friend behind him. The Leiter is coming over to talk to the freshman, and he punches himself in the chest and says, "My bad." But when you got a freshman very close to home, he's from New Jersey, you never know if it's the quarterback or if the receiver with the jitters might run the wrong route.
Now, Matt Leinart, I think he's all pumped up and ready to go. He knows he's got a young unit around him. He's got a young offensive line, young receivers. He's trying to do too much right now.
3rd down. The line to make is the 22.5-yard line. This is the 8th play of the drive for the Trojans. Virginia Tech, 4-down lineman, and now Leinart doesn't like what he sees. And a flag goes down, or does it, or did he call a timeout first?
Delay of game.
It is delay of game.
5-yard penalty. Repeat. Down.
Virginia Tech had 4 down, and then 4 linebackers, or 1 was a safety, and they continued to walk up to the line of scrimmage, and they certainly...
Offense work. He's got to settle down a little bit.
So here comes the play. Still the line to make is the 22.5-yard line. 3rd down, but this time they need about 15 yards rather than 10. Ryder sets deep in the pocket. Good protection right over the middle. He almost got his receiver, Steve Smith, knocked out of the ball game as he threw him a short pass a little bit behind him, and he really took some punishment there.
Matt Leinart has some things on offense, Ron. He just needs to relax a little bit more, trying to, as I said before, trying to do too much.
And you know, Mike, he has shown witness on that play right there. The offensive line, this is a young group, but they're doing a very adequate job of giving him protection, giving him time. So now we get to see the other punter of the ball game tonight who is just really outstanding. It is Tom Malone. Last year he averaged 49 yards a kick. And you say, why didn't he win the national title? The offense was so good, he didn't punt enough. So he was not allowed to be the winner, but he broke the SC record by 3.4 yards per kick. And in fact, he was within 0.3 of a yard of breaking the all-time Pac-10 record. Hangs it very high and kicks it long. Did have a couple of kicks blocked last year also.
Yeah, if you're Pete Carroll, you like this situational because you have a new snapper to the punter, Malone.
Football, play game against the offense. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, fourth down.
Colin Ashton is the new snapper. I'm not so sure that they didn't ask for that.
Yeah, they did. They wanted it. But this gives Ashton a chance to start off on the plus side of the 50 for your first snap.
We asked Malone when we were in Los Angeles what he worked on during the offseason. He said being more selective with a kick, and there's a pooch right there. He still may have kicked it too far. He did. 5 yards deep in the end zone, and that was a pooch kick. So he'll get credit for 42 yards, and Virginia Tech will take it over at their own 20-yard line. Let's go away for a moment. Interesting going to this early quarter, and still no score.
ESPN's College Football Saturday Primetime, brought to you by Scion, the customizable, affordable new car line. Scion, what moves you? And FedEx Kinko's, your one-stop shop for copying, printing, and shipping.
Well, folks, you were looking at a live shot of our nation's capital. That is a beauty indeed. U.S. Capitol Building originally opened in 1800. Then, of course, it was burned by the British in 1814. And in 1829, the total building was completed. Live shot downtown Washington, D.C. tonight.
Great city.
It's been a fun 3 days up here. It really has. Josh Hamilton checks in a tailback for the Hokies. And again, Randall will go from a shotgun formation, but they give it to Hamilton. Nope, he's going to keep it outside. I beg your pardon. And he'll take it out close to the 25. And Lofa Tutupu, the junior out of Plainville, is there to make the tackle.
Brian Randall graduated in 3 years. He plays basketball on the basketball team. He is leadership. But I'll tell you, there's a missing ingredient here tonight, Marcus Dick, because coaches, they're running that option, but they're running out of the gun, so he gets a good look at it.
Brian Randall taking graduate courses at Virginia Tech. Has a gain of about 5 yards in the play. And a quick out pass with another screen. Ball is on the ground. Is it a backward pass or a forward pass? And they say incomplete, so it was forward. Chris Clifton, the intended receiver.
Ron, he worked in L.A. this summer with Athletes in Action,
right.
And he was actually in the Watts area, and he met a USC player. He told us, he said, I didn't tell him I was a quarterback at Virginia Tech. He did tell some young boys and girls that he was working with in Watts he was a quarterback. They said, we're going to pull for you, but not for Virginia Tech. We're USC fans.
Third down. The line to make is the 30-yard line. Corner comes up making the blitz. Now he comes. Fullback picks him up. And around. Randall has the first down. 30, 35 out to the 40. And he's going to step out of bounds after taking everything he could get, which is all the way out to the 48-yard line. And those tackle Mike Patterson finally forced him out of bounds.
That's what Brian Randall does best. He's a running back at the quarterback position. Pretty good passer, too. You can see the area that opened right there. Now he's up the field for the first down. Well blocked. USC getting up the field on pass rush.
Mike, let me say this. Number 27, Justin Hamilton, came up and asked his quarterback to make sure he had what the audible was. He did an excellent job of picking up the blitz off the corner. And also a wonderful shot from our Sky King. That is a new feature that we'll have all season long here on Saturday primetime college football. This time Kinzer comes back into the ball game at fullback. He's offset to the right, tries to get the block, but there was nothing to Justin Hamilton. Mike Patterson is there again. Let's show you what
Mike
this
Patterson, really good football player.
You bet he is very, very active. There's a look at Sky Cam. This thing can go not across the sidelines, but it can go from corner to corner of the field, which of course is what, 53 1/3 yards as far as the width. And it can go the distance down either sideline. So it gives us a great perspective if you want to see behind the offense or behind the defense. Good look right there as you look down at Justin Hamilton, the redshirt junior out of Clintwood, Virginia. He was a wide receiver. They moved him back to running back. Boy, pressure off the corner, got a man wide open, and the tight end is there, Jeff King. Gain of 19 yards.
We talked about Matt Leinart maybe being a little nervous at the start of this game. Brian Randall is settling in. He's run a couple option plays for big plays. He ran a quarterback where he scrambled for a big play. And here's a great throw to the tight end, Jeff King. Justin Hamilton again with a good block.
Travis Tofi, sophomore out of American Samoa, is the man who made the tackle. But a good job by the Hokies on the second offensive series of mixing things up and confusing the men of Troy. Looks like an audible at the line of scrimmage by Randall. With the play action, steps up over the middle, got a man up, but good heavens, hitting in the wrong place, right in the numbers. Chris Clifton. Oh, you're not going to want to go into the film meeting on Monday and see that one.
Chris Clifton is a former high school quarterback. Has good hands. He's 6'4", 207 pounds. Big target. That's balls right there. He just took his eyes off the football and tried to cradle the catch.
You're right. Nose of the football is down just a little. Chris Clifton is still what they call the emergency quarterback on this football team.
They get in there. Of course, the next quarterback's a freshman.
Josh Hyman, the man to the bottom of the screen. Two wide receivers to the top. Randall with protection. Ball is tipped and it's intercepted in the middle to Tupu. Back to midfield. And he is tackled at the 46-yard line. But last year in the opening ball game at Auburn, after he had transferred from Maine, he had 20 individual tackles. Tonight, in his first ball game of his second season, he comes up with an interception.
A big interception. We talked about turnovers. We talked about changing the game, changing field position. To Tupu, sits right back here. Good pass protection by Virginia Tech. He didn't have the throw where he's trying to throw the football.
We just didn't see him, did he, Mike?
Big interception, no. And a good return by Tupu.
Well, his dad was a fullback and a really good one at Southern California, and his son ran the football well right there. So let's see if the men of Troy can come up with a response after the turnover. Play action by Leinart. Got a man wide open right over the middle, and that is Dwayne Jarrett. Put an asterisk by that one is the talented freshman out of the state of New Jersey, New Brunswick, actually makes his first catch at the 8-minute and 25-second mark. Mike, we saw the scrimmage, and true freshmen don't walk on the field with the starters at a place like SC.
No.
He did.
Did a good job there. The formation is a bunch formation. When you're a blitzing team, the bunch set will get you out of the blitz because there's a lot of picking right there. And the crossing route to Jarrett from New Brunswick, New Jersey, a good catch.
They think that he is really going to be a special player. And he is the man that literally is having to fill the shoes of like the Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams, again, denied by the NCAA. The only question I have is, the timing of it. I think the NCAA dropped the ball. They should have done this a long time ago. But I'm going to say this for the NCAA. They did make the right decision because he didn't pass the 6 hours. You send a raw message if you make him eligible. Here's what you're missing right there. 30 touchdown passes.
Most ever by a sophomore. Norm Chow, the offensive coordinator, we talked with him. We were out on the West Coast, and he said, sure, I mean, you can't lose a guy like that without losing both leadership and great ability on the field. But he also made the point, had he come back late, as much as they love Mike Williams, he also would have been a huge distraction to come in right now.
Well, he was a distraction at the time we were out there because he was practicing, but then they stopped him from practicing.
Virginia Tech jams the line of scrimmage on the 2nd down and short. And they go straight ahead, Lindell White. And he is the big boom back, as Mike said. Last year did not have the most carries, but he scored 13 touchdowns. He is the short yardage guy. Burchett on the stop.
Matt Leinart, Ron, when he was a quarterback, fighting for Carson Palmer's job at the last spring practice before last year, Norm Chow, the last scrimmage, ordained him the quarterback. He said, you're my man. I'll finish it after this play.
So the situation, it is a first down. And the second time tonight that the Trojans have been inside the 40-yard line. Quick out pass caught by Jared. Nice job on an open field tackle. And let's go downstairs. Aaron Andrews, let's check with you.
Well, Ron, you know, there is some concern about Matt Leinart's left arm. He is suffering from tendonitis in his elbow. I spoke with Matt yesterday, and he told me he's wearing a sleeve on that elbow, and that sleeve has evolved over the last week. The trainers have put a piece of plastic. It's adding some pressure on the tendons. I spoke with the trainer tonight, and he told me it's much like a tennis sleeve, guys.
You know, in fact, a lot of times when they're doing their walkthrough, so to speak, he throws with his right arm rather than his left. 2 of 6 his numbers so far. Here's White. Whoa, does he get banged hard at the line of scrimmage and knocked down at the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 9.5 for the Trojans.
Ron, going back to what I was talking about, a Leinart. Here's the play right here. You see Virginia Tech's defense stay square at the line of scrimmage and make the play.
It's Vince Hall, a redshirt freshman. And the word is for the Virginia Tech coaches, Hall is putting a lot of pressure on the people around him and Baki, who starts in front of him, to get more playing time. Reggie Bush, the lone setback. But remember, he catches the ball extremely well. And there's the middle screen to Bush. And he's got running room. 20, 10, touchdown, Southern Cal. To the pass game play, Reggie Bush catches the ball so well, and as the term goes, Mike, you get him in space. In other words, nobody right around him, and he's really tough to bring down.
Run and shoot screen pass that Reggie Bush took in, but they capitalize on Brian Randall's interception.
Killeen with the extra point attempt is up, and it's good. And at the 5:59 mark, we have somebody on the scoreboard, and it is preseason #1 ranked Southern Cal. 7-0 as you take one more look. Reggie Bush, 35 yards for the touchdown. We'll be right back.
Over here.
It's football Saturday primetime. Brought to you by Shell. New Shell V-Power. Actively cleans as you drive. Try it today.
Take a look at that touchdown pass. Watch the right guard and the right tackle right there. They're going to get separation. They're just going to brush block their defensive guys. Now all of a sudden, you got both the tackle, tight end, guard downfield, Reggie Bush. Separation you need. That takes advantage of a good, hard pass rush.
A great job by Matua, and also the guy they call Deuce Latou, who was a junior college transfer. Both of those guys are, well, you put them together, and they're over 700 pounds. Second kickoff, it's going to go deep into the end zone. This one is not going to be returned by Royal. I know the young freshman would love to try it, but those are not good odds against good special teams. So Randall, what is going through his mind right now after throwing the pick, and Southern Cal takes advantage with the touchdown?
Ron, he had everything going for him. He's got a rebound from that, the interception, because he did some good things on the option and a scramble. His passing is good, and his offensive line's giving him a lot of time to throw the football. The pass rush of USC is not there right now.
Cedric Humes, the tailback again. Richard Johnson, who came in motion and now reset on the bottom of your screen. And the option goes to the open side of the field. Randall, 10, 15, past 20, and he'll take it out over the 42-yard line. Tackle planted by Cornell Bean, the sophomore out of Lakewood Poly, the free safety, but it's a gain of 22 yards on the play.
Pete Carroll's a pro football coach. They don't see the option. He's seen it a lot in the past, though, but the option is really affecting USC right now. They don't have anybody on Randall. Randall's running wild on the option play.
Well, Jimmy Martin
in the Pac-10, also not many option teams in the Pac-10.
You look at Randall, his numbers, an average of over 5 per try, 5 touchdowns. He's got 4 carries for 65 tonight. But Pete Carroll won't like those kind of numbers, even if it was halftime right now. From the 41, option again, this time to the short side of the field, and you'll have 1. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Aaron Andrews coming to you from a jam-packed FedEx Stadium just outside of Washington, D.C. As we mentioned, they've averaged attendance here of in the 80s, but now they've added another 5,000 seats, and we're close to 92,000 in this building this evening. And right now, it's turning a little more pleasant than it was earlier. We were worried about the heat and the humidity on the youngsters, but it doesn't seem to be affecting anybody right now. Southern Cal on top, 7-0. Second and 8. Here comes a blitz from the right side. Pass thrown complete at the 45-yard line. And now the official right on the play says no. The umpire was facing it, and he says, no, Richard Johnson, you trapped it. So that will be a third down situation. And right now, Mike, I don't know if it's because he's rushing a little bit or what. That pass was just like the one that was dropped over the middle to Clifton. The point of the ball seems to be down almost to an extreme position.
Talk about that drop pass, and then you have the interception. And things are not going well for Brian Randall right now. He needs to get it back.
Third down. Randall in trouble, going to scramble. Got the first down and more at the 40, and goes out of bounds over, say, at the 37-yard line as Jason Leach finally forced it out, but it's a gain of 20, and he's now got 85 yards on the night. Wow.
A lot of times you get the pass rush up the field, man coverage, everybody's moving to the screen. All of a sudden now, everything opens on the outside. Also a good block by Richard Johnson in the wide receiver position.
Robert Nunn with the 23 came up to make the tackle, and the Indians from San Mateo was just kind of left going the wrong direction. From the tailback, gets the handoff right up the middle. Now he's going to take a few people with him. Good blocking again by that offensive fielder. Parker, Martin, McCollum, Miller, and Dunn. Sean Cody, the preseason All-American. That's the first tackle that we have for Sean on the evening. You see the numbers on Randall tonight. 1 interception, but in rushing, officially now 6 carries for 87 yards.
Yeah, that's big. 2 broken plays against this USC defense.
We've gone under 4 minutes to play in this opening quarter. Trojans on top, 7-0. But the Hokies are threatening. Hamilton right at the middle, takes the first tackle, flag is down. We'll have the first down, but let's go back and check the line of scrimmage. Leach with his second tackle in the series. Will Montgomery, the center, with a good block in the play.
Illegal formation against the offense. Only 6 men
on the line of scrimmage.
I knew that's what he was going to call it. And I think on the long run, on the play prior to this, if you're fortunate, they didn't call it then as well. And they'll keep throwing the flag, as I said, because the SEC, that's one of the things that they have been told that they're to focus on. Because if you don't have 7, you got an illegal formation.
Yeah, I think what happens on this play, Ron, they got the linemen on the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tight end's not up, and I'm sure the receiver's back on that side, so they caught the receiver and tight end on that play.
So it's 2nd down and 9. SC shows blitz. Did they stay at home? Pass right over the middle. That is incomplete. Intended for number 19, Josh Hyman. And now a flag comes down from behind the line of scrimmage, and we've got a roughing the passer of the Trojans. It would have been a 3rd down and 9.5, and now somebody comes up with an oops as far as the Trojans are concerned.
It's Mike Patterson, number 99, the nose tackle.
Roughing the passer against the defense. Number 89, leading with the helmet. The penalty 15 yards from the previous spot, and automatic 1st down.
That's been the first time that we've had the individual penalty. And actually, it's number 99, Mike Patterson.
You see him come right in here, spin off and make the hit right there with his helmet. Now, I don't know if he hit the helmet, but he was higher on the hit on Brian Randall.
I think he got him because he hit him with the top of the headgear, possibly. SC now the 3 penalties, 25 yards, and 3 for 15 against the Hokies. 1st down at the 21.5-yard line. Hamilton, blocker in front. Good ankle high hit, number 6, pretty good. The senior linebacker out of Huntington Beach, California. And he stopped what could have been a gain of close to another 10 yards.
Virginia Tech's offensive line doing a nice job protecting Brian Randall and also opening up holes for Justin Hamilton, the backup tailback, 6'3", 222. Looks pretty good to me.
He does look good. He's got one of those styles. He runs a little high, but he's very strong and he's hard to bring down. Humes comes back into the ballgame as Hamilton lost his shoe. Number 58, the junior, as he already has an interception in tonight's ballgame.
Looks like again that he had something backside there. When Cedric Hughes came into the line of scrimmage, it looked like if he would have been able to break to the left side, he'd have been able to pick up more yardage. But he was hurt last year, hurt his ankle, missed a lot of fall practice.
8th play of the drive. It started back at the 20-yard line. Total yards for the Hokies, 94 for the men of Troy, but they lead it 7-0. Randall just going to throw this one away at the 11-yard line. Tutupu was coming with pressure. And they were trying to set up something to the left.
They had the tight end, number 85, wide open, and Brian Randall didn't see him. They drug him across the field. He was open. That's one of those plays you gimmick a play and you have it, and you need to take advantage of it.
Brandon Pace will come in and attempt the field goal. It's going to be directly on the hash mark. It is a 35-yard attempt. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Virginia Beach. Got plenty of length, and he's also got the accuracy. And the Hokies are on the scoreboard. So we'll take a timeout with 1:42 left in the opening quarter. And our new score, SC 7-3. Welcome back to Washington, D.C. Beautiful shot again of our nation's capital. Might take us to the all-22, which means the 11 players on each side, and show what happened.
Mazzetta, the tight end, watch him right here. He's going to block down and show a block, and then he's going to release over here, and he's wide open. That's a play you wait for. Certain part of the game, he's wide open, get him the football. They missed him. He's standing right there. He's upset. He knows he was open. He knows he keeps that drive alive if they throw him the football.
On the Capitol here tonight, a live shot in Washington, D.C. on a Saturday evening. The 28th of August. Reggie Bush, along with Desmond Reed, the two deep receivers. As you look at Reggie Bush, extremely talented, and so is Desmond Reed. As Jared DeBelli prepares to kick it off for Virginia Tech. 7-3, a new score. Bush fumbles it, picks it up at the 2. College football presented by Cooper Tires. Dennis Francione leads the Texas A&M Aggies against quarterback Alex Smith, the number 21 Utah Utes. Thursday Night Football is also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or Dish Network.
Who would have ever thought Utah would be a favorite over A&M in the first game of the year?
The Urban Meyer's ball club is garnering a lot of respect. Reiner started 0 for 4. Since then is 3 of 3, 43 yards and a touchdown. Short drop, puts up the fade, and it is caught, but it's caught out of bounds by Jerry. Jimmy Williams is the man who had the cover on him, and that's a great matchup right there because Jimmy is 6'3", but the young freshman Jared is 6'5".
They're going to go after Jimmy Williams. He was a safety last year, and he's 6'3", so he's got to be one of the bigger corners in the country. You want to find out if he can move his hips and he can turn. That's Buck Foster, defensive coordinator.
Now Lindale White for the 21 comes in the tailback. Short drop, pumps it over the middle. Got it complete. It's going to be stopped at the 25-yard line. And it's Chris McCoy, the sophomore out of Chino, coming across the middle. And he'll have a third down and short.
I want to finish this story, Reiner. When Norm Chow said, "You're the guy," everybody on that campus said he talked different, he walked different, he performed different. When you know you're the guy, Norm Chow ordains you the guy, you know, all of a sudden you've got great confidence.
Well, he completed 212 straight passes. They're not straight. The passes without throwing an interception last year. This time under pressure, going to be hit, and he's sacked. And now there's a flag. Bring us down at the 17 as Jim Davis got through it.
Jim Davis, a great story, Ron.
Hey, SC is saying this penalty is against the Hokies.
Personal foul on the defense, grasping the face mask, number 95. 15 yards, and automatic first down.
Jim Davis, that's why he got in there so fast. Sometimes you'll reach out as a defensive lineman, you'll grab a face mask. Let's see if we can find it. Jim Davis, a great story, sat out last year. Top of the screen, right there, grabbing the face mask. Kyle Williams, right tackle. I didn't see him grab the face mask, but they saw it on the field.
So boy, what a huge play that right there instead of a fourth down. And very well, it does. It flips the field. New first down. The new line of scrimmage just shy of the 40-yard line. .28 seconds left in this opening quarter.
Virginia Tech, that's their second timeout of this half.
It burnt 2 timeouts, and
well, Frank Beamer is not happy in the fact that this ball game, we have not gotten a good rhythm in this one yet, Mike. It's been a stop-start, stop-start. Penalties by both teams. bad formations, bad personnel groups, and having to call timeouts. So it's not one of those things, but it's also a first ball game, which you expect to see this kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, see, first games, you don't have the preseason games. Ron, I want to talk about why USC's #1. When out watching, they got this quarterback, Matt Liner, Heisman hopeful, outstanding defense in front, linebackers. They have depth at the front, depth at tailback. They got Bush. They got a lot of people to play in that at the running back position. Lindell White, explosive punter, place kicker. You don't mind going on the road as a head coach when you got a great defense and a great punter and place kicker. Easy schedule. When you look at their schedule, they got a pretty good setup for their schedule. Coaching, the best of both worlds. They got Pete Carroll on defense. They got Norm Chow on offense. They almost have 2 head coaches.
So here they come to the line of scrimmage, which is the 39.5-yard line at a first down, following a gigantic personal foul call against Virginia Tech. Right over the play action, backside pressure. Now gets it away, and it is incomplete at the 45-yard line. Dwayne Jarrett, the intended receiver. And I'll tell you, coming in a hurry. Darryl Taft was one of the guys, and also Xavier Adibi, number 11. You remember Nathaniel, his older brother, who was a defensive end? He was coming strong on the play as well.
Adibi is one of those young linebackers. Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, said he's going to be a player, a special player.
You know what one of his teammates said? He said Nathaniel was kind of a quiet guy. The only way to put it about this fella, he's just downright mean.
He is mean. He made a great play on that last one.
Pitch comes to Bush. Cuts it back up into the middle. He gets flipped at the 45-yard line. And that is James Griffin, another guy who has the background and the history of being a real hitter on the defensive side of the ball. And now Southern Cal's going to have to come up with something that can create 4 yards or give the football back to Virginia Tech. That is the end of the opening quarter. We'll talk more about it in just a moment. And as we go to break, Southern Cal 7 and Virginia Tech 3. The end of our first. We'll be back with more right after this. So we are back at Landover, Maryland. Sold-out house tonight for this, the Black Coaches Football Classic. Some of the students from Blacksburg that have journeyed up here for this ball game. We've already made history the last time that the Virginia Tech was a part of this BCA. We didn't get to play the game. We had a storm and they had to cancel it. We'll talk more about that. Right over the middle, there's a catch by Alex Holmes, the senior out of Sherman Oaks, California. Lost the ball momentarily. That's the reason the beanbag went down. James Griffin came over to make the stop. And there, I think Virginia Tech is saying that has to be incomplete. But the coaches are saying it's not a completion. And the officials say, yes, it was a completion.
I thought Alex Holmes had a great story when you were out there. You asked him when he's going to get back to practice as he catches his football. He's got this football. He brought it in, dropped it, maybe fumbled it, and covered it.
It looks like it was a good call. Vince Brown comes up to make another hit on Glendale White. And I'll tell you, Virginia Tech, since the opening series, they were a little shaky against this offensive front. But since then, they've been doing a good job of getting penetration.
Really are, Ron. I want to finish that Alex Holmes because you asked him, you said, when are you going to start practicing? He said, well, not in a real hurry to get back. He got back Wednesday. So he's in this football game. He didn't want to go 2 days.
And when he came in as a freshman, he weighed 305 pounds. He now weighs 270. Steve Smith in motion. Landed, looking, trying to get his receiver to ad-lib. Puts up the ball, and it is caught inside the 20-yard line, and that is David Kirkman, the fullback. And you could see right from the presence of mind, just signaling, hey, don't stay there, go on downfield, I'll get to the ball. Jonathan Lewis with a lot of pressure, but it's good for 26 yards.
Well, Kirkman needed a direction right there because Matt Liner was telling him, move, get going. And now he gets the ball to him. Now Kirkman makes a good concentrated catch.
fullbacks normally don't have quite that good of hands, but he did a nice job of following that in. So that the first down inside the 20-yard line. And then there right again is the tailback. Virginia Tech comes with a blitz. You can see at bottom of the screen. Ryan's going to be hit for the second time tonight. He is sacked, and it's Jim Davis who was there to get him.
Jim Davis, again, a great story, Ron. Didn't have football last year. Didn't want to go to the games. He went to one game last year was to see the seniors play in the game last year because he felt he owed it to them, but he missed football. He said, I'm blessed to be back.
He had a really unusual injury. He tore his pec muscle and had to sit out the entire season. But as we mentioned in the lineup, the pros really liked him. This hit at the line of scrimmage, and again it's Xavier Adibi, number 11, the redshirt freshman out of Hampton, Virginia. Boy, I see why the coaches like this young man. You talk about active and making things happen, and what kind of quickness does he bring to the Hokie D?
Davis, again, we talked about, he sat out last year. He talked about his injury. I know Aaron talked to him when we were at Virginia Tech about his injury, but he missed football, and he's glad to be back.
Third down. The line to make is just inside the 10. This is the 10th play of the drive. As Ryder retreats, here's Bush. This is a play scored on the middle screen, looking for a place to go, and this time he won't be able to break it out as Chris Ellis, a redshirt freshman out of Hampton, Virginia, is there to make the tackle.
Safe call and gets you set up for the field goal attempt. Bush again shows you his value to this football team as a receiver out of the backfield.
Ryan Colleen comes in to attempt the field goal. His numbers last year, 19 of 24. His longest was 45 yards. That was against Arizona State. And this is going to be an attempt of 35 yards from the far hash mark. Ball is long enough, and it is wide right.
Playing into Virginia Tech's hands.
You're right.
Since 1998, this is the first time they are not ranked. They have something to prove. This is a fired-up football team that right now has played the #1 team in the country, head to toe, right with them, and except for a few mistakes, they'd be ahead.
So let's take a break. 7-3 our score. So we're back at a 7-3, Southern Cal on top. And we're not doing a commercial for Gentlemen's Quarterly, but actually it's former head coach Jim Donnan, who has joined us here in the booth, who is working with ESPN.com. Man, you look down. Let's talk about, Mike just made the statement as we watched the ball game, SC kind of playing into the hands of the Hokies as far as missed opportunities in the last few minutes.
Well, you got to deliver the knockout blow early against an underdog team, and I think Ryan Randall, to this point, has been a human highlight for him. He could get some receivers to catch the football. That won't really be in this game.
You know, Jim, well, see how bad you make us look? You got
hey,
we'll put our second.
Listen, man, this is a conference game, isn't it? Or non-conference, I don't know.
Let me ask you this. But Virginia Tech got off to a shaky start. Young, not enough men on the line of scrimmage, just some, you know, some little things that are going to get called. But that, to be the poise that they've shown, I think, says a lot about Frank Beamer and his staff of keeping them together.
I like the fact that Frank Beamer is even playing this game. He's showing his team he has confidence in him. He's come out and made some early mistakes, but they've hung in against the defending national champion. And they've got a good football team. Now probably good enough to beat USC unless USC falters a little bit.
That's Jeff King on the receiving end of that pass right there. It won't be enough for the first down. Go ahead, Mike.
Talk about a neutral officiating group. I see Frank Beamer's a little disgusted over there in the sideline. How tough is it to get a beat on the officials when you've never seen them before?
Well, I've seen them. These are SEC guys, and I know Rocky Good's a good official, but we've had 2 personal foul penalties. Had a lot to do in this football game, but it's tough to adjust the officiating when you're used to the West Coast or the Big East guys. But pretty soon they're going to see some guys like this down the road because they'll both be playing in bowl games.
Third down. They need to take it to the 30-yard line. We'll check this third down play. And one more question for you, Jim. Out in the flat, got it complete. That's the fullback, Kinzel, and he'll have the first down. As they move the sticks, it gives us an opportunity. Talk about what you guys do on ESPN.com. How many hits do you give, Jim, and what kind of questions do they ask?
We get a lot of questions, Ron, but we've had over 6,000 to this point in the first quarter. You can't answer them all, but a lot of good things happening for ESPN and college football and ESPN.com. We're just glad to be part of this and always glad to be with you guys.
Hey, listen, good to have you with us.
All right, thanks.
We'll
Look forward to seeing you later.
All right,
yeah.
Take care.
Good to see you.
Jim Donnan, working with ESPN.com and here in the booth with us, talking about what they are doing. 6,000 hits in the first quarter alone. That's got to make everybody happy at Bristol, Connecticut.
Virginia Tech, that's their last timeout.
So that's their last timeout, but Virginia Tech did not like what they saw. They'll stop the clock. We'll be right back. 7-3 Trojans.
PN's College Football Saturday Primetime. Brought to you by Advil Liquid Gels. They rush liquid relief where it hurts. Advil Liquid Gels. Liquid fast. And Hummer. Check out the H2 at Hummer.com. Hummer, like nothing else.
Welcome back to FedEx Stadium. You know, Jim Donnan mentioned something about the head coach at Virginia Tech playing this ball game. I need to tell you, next week they were scheduled to go to LSU and play the Tigers. And Frank said, I'll play Southern Cal, but I'm not going to play LSU the very next week. That game was shifted to 07. Randall under heavy pressure, gets by one, will not get by the second. Number 99, Mike Patterson. And I will say it's a promo for us. In 07, that ball game will be played LSU and Virginia Tech. And I don't blame him. I would not have played this spot here and then gone down next week.
I like the decision to play this game. He said he excited his fans. They bought 53,000 tickets right away for this game. But his players went through spring practice, summer practice, fall practice, knowing they were going to play the #1 team in the country. They were excited after finishing on a low last year.
Yeah, very much a low. 4 of the last 5 they dropped and were beaten badly in their bowl game. Pass over the middle, caught for the tight end King, and King will have the first down. The ball inside the 45-yard line. It's good for a gain of 22.
Well, Jim Donnan talked about receivers holding on to the ball. What's happening right now in the last couple of series is for Virginia Tech, they're going to the tight ends on crossing routes. Here you see Jeff King, number 90, getting away from Darnell Bing, a pretty good strong safety. But the tight ends for Virginia Tech, they use 3 of them, all good receivers getting down the field.
Jeff King, a leader on that football team as well. Redshirt junior out of Pulaski, Virginia. 3 catches, 47 yards. That's a career high for him. Running play, Hamilton right at the middle, spins off and goes inside the 40. And let's go down to the sideline. Aaron, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron, in years past, before the season opener, Virginia Tech would pass out T-shirts to both the offense and the defense. Now, they would be different T-shirts, and they would have a slogan on the front. This year, they decided to give the same shirt to both sides. Now, this is the shirt. I got my hands on it. I don't know if you can read it. It says United. Also, the football team is wearing these wristbands, and some of the Hokie fans in the stands are wearing them as well. They say Team United. Virginia Tech has teamed up with the United Way, and proceeds to buying these wristbands go to the United Way in southwestern Virginia, guys.
Okay, thanks very much, Aaron. Pass over the middle, got that one complete as well. Richard Johnson. Johnson still on his feet. Inside the 25-yard line. Tackled by Bing.
Ron, you look at this play, I want you to think about pro football. Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts, he does so much of this. Virginia Tech's coaches have spent the last 2 winters with the Indianapolis Colts coaching staff. That's a design play that the Colts use a bunch, and they're using it very well tonight.
Well, this drive started back at the 20-yard line. And they have a first down inside the 25. Hamilton comes in motion. Randall's going to keep it. Play action. Gets out on the outside. Breaks the tackle. Goes inside the 15. And they'll move the chains again. Arbat finally made the tackle. But it's a gain to 10. And should be a first down Virginia Tech.
It looked like a busted play from the start. Brian Randall makes something out of nothing here. and shows you great running ability, great moves down the field.
I'll tell you something, Mike. They better put it in the playbook. That worked pretty darn well.
That's good.
First and 10 at the 13. Kings are back in the ball game at Florida. Randall now 8 carries for 96 yards. Hands it off to Hamilton, and he'll try left guard, and there's not much doing on that play. As Darnell Being, the sophomore out of Lakewood, comes up to make the tackle on that play.
Here's where you start running out of room now, so you got to really do some good things down here against this USC defense. I said before the game they needed a short field. They started this drive from the 20-yard line. This is an excellent drive by Virginia Tech. They need to finish right now.
Richard Johnson, number 12. Josh Hyman, number 19, coming at wide receiver. 10th play of the drive, and keep an eye on number 90, Jeff King, the tight end. It's Hyman in motion. Back to throw, out in the flat, got it complete. Hyman at the 5. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. Extra point attempt to come by Brandon Pace. Got it. And with 6:19 left to play in this opening half, we're going to take a timeout. But it is Virginia Tech, the solid underdog in this one, who has come up with a drive of 80 yards, and they finish scoring and put it to a 10-7 lead. Josh Hyman being surrounded by his teammates after catching the touchdown pass.
He's going to come in motion, Ron, right across. Number 30, Arbet's got him man-to-man, too far off, and it allowed him to score. And just think about this. In the early morning, tomorrow morning, when you get up for your flight at 5 o'clock in the morning, there's going to be a giant alarm go off. That alarm just went off for USC's football team, because right now they better wake up.
They're going to go off at about 10 past 9 Eastern time, which is about 1 minute from now. Jared DeBelli will kick it off for Virginia Tech. Good high over end. Reggie Bush. Nice job of coverage by Virginia Tech. Just not much there for Reggie Bush. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock at Sunday Night Major League Baseball. Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants take on the Atlanta Braves. Coverage begins with baseball tonight on the road, driven by GMC at 7 Eastern. Giants Braves also available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes and in high definition on ESPN HD.
And the Braves are really playing well. I saw them beat the Giants today. They don't pitch to Barry Bonds either.
Seconds in possession time to 14-21 for Virginia Tech so far. Handoff right at the middle is his pitch, spinning his way close to the 20-yard line, tackled by Tapp.
Last time USC was trailing versus Cal, and they lost the football game. Cal had balance. They threw the ball well. They ran the ball well against USC. Pete Carroll knows right now he's got a real tough team on the other side that didn't get the respect coming into this football game they thought they deserved. So they're playing above themselves right now.
Running play again with Bush. Does not have the first down. He gets it very hard and knocked down. Number 1, Eric Green. Great job of run support, and he comes over to hit him down. Now it's going to be 3rd down for SC. And just things are not working the way they were early. Just penetration in every direction by this Virginia Tech defense.
A good play by Eric Green, but right at this point, you expect Matt Leinart to come through for these USC football teams. A little confusion on the sideline.
Line to make is the 35-yard line. You see they got 10 seconds left on the play clock. Short drop. First man was covered. Now nobody is ad-libbing for him. He's going to run it, and he'll have the first down. And that's a situation you could sit right here and look like everybody just run along looking instead of taking off to help their quarterback.
There's a scramble rule. When your quarterback starts to scramble, you go to your quarterback and you go up the football field. The receivers and the backs are not doing that right now. And Leinart was able to pick that up because of being a good athlete. But he made the play you expect him to make. 7 out of 13, 90 yards, 1 touchdown pass.
So a huge first down as far as the Trojans are concerned. Keeping the drive alive as the clock runs. Actually stopped at 4 minutes and 40 seconds left until halftime. With pressure up the middle. Got this pass away in and out of the hands of Dwayne Jarrett. James Griffin is the man who came up to put the hit on him. The new rover. New starter. He is another one of those youngsters that just simply has not played that much.
Orndell, the defensive line coach, talking to his son about better pass rush, stopping the run. On the field, this offense, young receivers are not doing it for USC.
Second down and 10. Steve Smith, the man in motion. But they go with the running play with Lindale White. Good second effort there. He's going to have a gain of very close to 8 yards in the play. Corzellis making the tackle. And you know, Mike, I'll tell you, if the flag come down, the Virginia Tech coaches came running out on the field. Steve Smith has really been taken out of the offense as far as Southern Cal is concerned.
He's the most experienced wide receiver, but young wide receivers can make the quarterback look bad because once the ball snaps, the coverages change, and if you don't adjust the right way, you'll make your quarterback look very poor.
Steve Smith averages almost 19 yards per catch. SC 4 of 6 on third down conversion. And they go with Lindale White. Has the first down, driving people back and still taking them with him. Good hand from the folks who are journeying here from the West Coast. Going to be a gain of 12 in the play. Jimmy Williams finally stopped it.
Mike Garrett, former great running back at USC, and now the athletic director said he can be one of the best ever. Now, when you talk about running backs at USC, to say he can become one of the best ever, that's high compliment.
So the clock continues to run. Now it's under 4 minutes, 3:35 and counting. As a DB is being checked on the far sideline. Xavier, a redshirt freshman out of Hampton. Well, look at this play again. It's right inside the 45, and he is close to another 10-yard gain. That really happened. Tackled by Anderson.
I don't think Virginia Tech was set on defense there. USC came out, got right down. Watch Virginia Tech. They're moving around right here, and they're not ready to go. And the ball snapped, and that's what it caught him. That's, again, a great quarterback that can take advantage of that.
White, 8 carries, 62 yards for him. First and 10, Southern Cal. They keep an eye on that clock. Going under 3 minutes to play. Fish gets the handoff. Going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage by Nolan Burchett. And he is tackled for a loss. The fourth time that they have been stopped for a loss in this ball game.
Burchett with a good play. Got penetration. Made the play on Bush before he could even get started. You think about the deep throw. USC has tried, I believe, 2 deep passes against Virginia Tech. Only 2.
I'm surprised that Martell hasn't tried the vertical game with the tight end. Now from the sideline, Pete Carroll says, let's call a timeout. We got too much confusion.
Dwayne Jarrett, a freshman wide receiver, may have lined up on the wrong side.
So let's take a break. 2:18 left until intermission. It is Virginia Tech 10 and SC 7.
I dream.
So when you're back on the near sideline, we're looking at the Tom Malone as the ball is being snapped by Colin Ashton, who is the new long snapper. Just in case they run out of bounds and have to punt it away here before halftime. We have not seen much punting in the first half from either side. Reggie Bush lines up a tailback. Second down, they need to take it down to the 33-yard line. They hand it off in the reverse, knocked indoors, Steve Smith, and they still can't get him on track. Virginia Tech said, nope, we're not going to fall for that one. And they come up with a big defensive play to make the stop. Number 22 again, James Griffith, the Rover, and Jason Lawless, number 91. Lawless not a starter, but he started or played in 11 games last year. So a very good backup because he's been there before.
They have depth. The good news for Tech fans are young. They're a year away from being a great team.
Third down. They're going to take it just inside the 33. This is the 10th play of the drive. Pressure comes right up the middle. Leonard drills the pass. Got it complete, short of the first down. Steve Smith on the receiving end. But you can see our yellow line. See where they spot it down and just exactly how close he is. Mike, I think he's going to be about 1.5 yards, if not 2 yards shy. There's a good picture of it right there.
You got to go for it. And Lendell White has picked up tough yardage, so you figure he's going to get the football.
The clock right now runs with 1:10, 1:09. That's what Pete Carroll and his coaches on the sideline were watching.
They're going to take it. Linert's off the sideline. I think he's going to take a timeout here, Ron. Let the clock run down, take a timeout, come over and talk about this play. Too important just to not talk about it.
So, Mike, you're exactly right. He runs it down to 50 seconds. Challenge. Sylvester Croom makes history, and Mike Williams, and a debate has been sparked. That and more coming up on the Pontiac halftime report. You have to wonder, it is a warm night here, and we talked about off the top of the telecast, Mike, the humidity here in the Washington, D.C. area. You have to wonder if some of these kids, they don't have this kind of humidity in Southern California, and maybe cramps are becoming a little bit of a problem for these youngsters.
And the depth of quarterback is not good for USC at this point, either for Virginia Tech behind Brian Randall. But you think about this play call and what Norm Child's thinking about. He knows everybody in the stadium figures it's going to be Lendell White. So you also think about a play fake. But the passing game has been Nolan Boyd here in the first half. I think the reason is the young receivers. There's no threat. You figure they're going to try Jimmy Williams deep a couple of times, but they haven't done it yet.
Norm Chow, who is many people think as good as ever been in college football when it comes to being a quarterback / offensive coordinator, coach. And let's see what he comes up with here. Reggie Bush is in the ball game at 2 of them.
Bush would be the guy. They're going to go to tussle, so they're going to run it on the game. They're going to try to pick somebody right here.
Bush in motion. Short drop, right up in the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Joe, as he got hit very hard by Jimmy Williams.
I think it's a good call by Pete Carroll because Virginia Tech's used all their timeouts. So now their offense has pretty good field position, but without any timeouts. The pass was there. Liner did a good job. They set the bunch set to the field. They threw the slant, the backside. Williams was in on the play.
So now Virginia Tech with 46 seconds showing on the clock. Will they go for something big, or will they be satisfied with running the clock down? If they're just going to try to run the clock down. Cedric Humes going straight ahead. Lopa Tatupu making the stop for Southern Cal.
See, they're the underdogs, so they're going in with this halftime lead. It's going to be a big boost for their football team, but a big boost for this home crowd right here. So they don't want to make a mistake right here, and they're out of timeouts. So I like the strategy, take the lead, go into halftime.
There's the indication that Frank took his headset off many moments ago. We're now at 15 seconds. You see the difference between play clock and game clock. They're going to take one snap, and then they'll head for the locker room. And Humes will go for a couple of yards, and we are at the intermission. The partisan house of Virginia Tech Hokie fans on their feet and making a lot of noise. And let's go down to the field and Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
Ron, thanks so much. I'm here with USC head coach Pete Carroll. Brian Randall having a lot of success when he gets out of the pocket. How do you plan to contain him?
Well, we have to stay in the rush lanes. We got to do a nice job coming out of the secondary. He's done a really fine job so far.
The last time your team was down heading into the half was versus Cal. What do you tell your team in the locker room?
Well, we'll just go back about playing football, you know. It's a long game. It's a good football game. This is a lot of fun. We got to play good in the second half.
Coach Carroll, thanks.
All right.
Ron, back up to you.
Okay, Aaron, thanks so much. Our halftime score, Virginia Tech 10 and Southern California 7. Now here's Reese Davis with the Pontiac halftime report. Southern Cal, as we look at the first half stats, you know, they really have not been stopped rushing the football tonight themselves either.
No, and they need to keep running the football and not get away from that, but they got to take some shots down the field.
Well, as we prepare to start the second half, here's a note from the sideline. Xavier Adibi tore a muscle in his right arm. He will not return to the lineup tonight for Virginia Tech. Xavier Adibi. And let's check down to the sideline and Aaron Andrews. What do you got?
Ron, I spoke to Virginia Tech's head coach Frank Beamer as he was walking back to the field. He told me he was very happy with the way his team played in the first half, very happy with Brian Randall, but he told the team everything that we worked on in the summer, everything we've talked about is on display right now in the second half. He also said losing Xavier Adibi is very tough for Virginia Tech. Ron?
Okay, well, you know, he was one of the guys Mike and I talked about in the first half. Adibi, one of those inspirational guys. And actually, those young inspirational guys, I think, are the ones responsible for keeping the Hokies in this ballgame.
Young football team. Steve Smith's got to step up here in the second half.
There's a DB right there. You see the ice pack and the torn muscle. Hit behind the line of scrimmage. Linda Wright reverses the first tackle, and he winds up with a gain of maybe one. Tap on the stop for Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech looks a lot quicker than USC in this first half. I know they traveled a long way for this football game. They practiced Thursday. They got in Thursday. They practiced Friday at 11 o'clock at Maryland University. Then they practiced a walkthrough here, just trying to keep the guys busy.
Stopped by tactics a moment ago. That gets his 5 tackles on the night. Play action, pressure on Leonard. He's going to be sacked. Second time that they have sacked Leonard this evening.
Gerald Taft, the players call him fast forward because he plays so hard. 55, he beats the block of the tackle on the backside and gets the liner. Not a good way to start the third quarter if you're USC.
So Dwayne Jarrett, the freshman wide receiver, comes out of the ball game. It is third down, and the Trojans need to take it out to the 30-yard line if they want to hold on to this football. Tight end Alex Holmes flexes out about 15 yards to the left. Well, pumped it once, going to go on top, going long, and the ball is almost intercepted by Eric Green. Pass intended for the 4.
Third and long, Eric Green is sitting deep. He's the best corner on this football team. Where's the number 1? He didn't buy the fake, the stutter step and go. He's sitting right back there for an interception.
Only the second punt of the night coming up. But Tom Malone, as we mentioned last year, his first punt 42 yards. Last year he averaged 49 yards a kick. And they 49-yarder right now.
And when you punt the ball deep, people are used to running down 30 yards. You've got a great chance for a return.
High pass, gets his kick away. This is not a good one. End over end. Bounds inside the 50-yard line, and they'll get no return out of this one. So aesthetically, it left a bit to be desired, but it did the job. It's a 42-yard kick with nothing on the return. And as you can see, he's not real happy with that effort to open the second half with his second punt.
It's a big series for Virginia Tech. They have great field position. Brian Randall's a competent quarterback right now. The offensive line handle USC's defense is a big series for the Hokies.
Cedric Humes is in the ball game at tailback. Time in motion. And they give it to Humes right up the middle. Tries to drive the pile, and he does for 3, maybe 4 yards. Let's take a look at Brian Randall in the first half and things that he accomplished then.
Yeah, rushed for 96 yards on an option play earlier where you see he gets outside, uses very good speed. Now he scrambles with the football, picks up a first down and more yardage on that play, and it comes back on a pass which was wide open for the touchdown to Hyman.
Option play. Hyman was the man in motion. They could have pitched to him, and boy, he got knocked down hard by Mike Patterson, who was right there. And I think smart not to try to pitch because he might have turned that one over.
The good idea, again, about adjustments at halftime. Pete Carroll knows the option is hurting a little bit, so maybe a little bit more zone where your backs, your linebackers and defensive backs have their eyes in on the quarterback more.
Southern Cal coming with a blitz. Flag is down and it's thrown complete. That is to Humes, still on his feet, and when he stopped shy of the 50-yard line, Grudegood is out there to make the tackle, and it was Kevin Arbett who was coming with the pressure.
I like Pete Carroll's call there. He needs a wake-up call, so he's going to blitz it a little bit more. Brought the corner out of the secondary, trying to get his ball club to be the aggressor.
Illegal formation against the offense. Only 6 men on the line. The penalty will be declined. The down will be 4th down.
Again, he may have been the tackle, a back, may have been the tight end that's supposed to line up on the line of scrimmage in the backfield. It's been the 3rd time, I believe.
3rd or 4th, Mike. You're right. Vinnie Burns, the senior out of New Orleans, to punt. Reggie Bush is the deep man. And here's the left footer's kick. Wobbly, high spiral, not going to turn over. And Bush on the run at the 18. So Bush will take it to the 27-yard line. 34 on the punt, 9 on the return. Let's take a break. 10-7 Hokies. The Lincoln Memorial, they started construction in 1914, and the cost on this, $2.957 million to build. The sculpture, Daniel Chester Prince from Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Made out of pink Tennessee marble, Colorado Yule marble, and Indiana limestone. As you look at Old Glory. Wow. Beautiful night here in our nation's capital. Look out behind, ball is thrown complete. And that's going to go to David Kirkman, the fullback.
As I look at this offense right now, they're stumbling around. And you think about Mike Williams, bring him back. We talked about him in the first half. Decided to go pro with another year. He would have been the big play wide receiver. Nobody stepped up to fill that void to this point in this ball game.
Look at number 82, Chris McCoy. He's a sophomore out of Chino. Smith in motion, and they throw it out to McCoy. And that's what they plan on doing a lot. The quick throw. The quarterback raises up on rhythm, throws the quick pass out, and then they see they can beat the back just a little bit anyway. In that case, he did, and I think he picked up the first down.
The other thing you do, Ron, you make a excellent point there. You also help your offensive line of protection when you throw the ball that quick. Chris McFoy, the player that made that catch, is filling in for Mike Williams tonight.
You see only 2 catches, total of 10 yards.
And Virginia Tech's done a good job of keeping everything short. They gave up the long screen pass. That was not a long pass. It was a long run after the pass.
In case you missed the first half of play, Southern Cal's got to be kicking themselves a little bit. They had a 10-play drive that covered 66 yards, used 4:55 off the clock, and then they missed the field goal. They came away with no points.
Last 3 possessions, no points.
Reggie Bush in a tailback on first down. Well, not much there. In fact, there's nothing. Loss of almost 3. But Shaq is the man, both of the defensive ends for that matter, tapped from the other side to make the hit.
Talk about the big question marks. Young offensive receivers and the offensive line. They had to replace all 5 starters. You see they got whipped there at the line of scrimmage. Virginia Tech with a lot of depth. Serving notice to the ACC teams. Hey, don't rank us. We're happy with that.
Well, the deep handoff, and he just simply slips down. You can see the young-charging Mikel Baquet, and feet went out from under Lindale White. And so it's going to be a 3rd down situation and long for Southern Cal. You look at a DB again on the sideline, and in case you missed that announcement, his arm is wrapped right there. He has torn a muscle in that right arm. No more playing tonight. It'll be interesting to see. And you hope it's not a situation where he loses the entire year.
They know he can be a special football player.
3rd down. Ryan to make just across the 47. Now they go to the middle. Smith makes the catch, and he got walloped by Vincent Fuller.
Vincent Fuller was a corner last year and moved to free safety. And I think he's got a lot to do with the secondary lining up in the right spot. He makes all the calls. And again, Matt Leinart looks a little frustrated with the Virginia Tech defense.
Richard Johnson, the deep man. It's the 3rd time that Southern Cal will have punted. The last kick by Tom Malone was 42 yards, but it was an end over end. There was no return. He was unable to get a spot. See what he can do here. Virginia Tech has called a timeout. Well, they used all their timeouts in the first half very quickly, and this one a little strange on a punt.
With the new snapper, I'm not so sure that they got the right call in there, whether they want to rush, they try to block this kick or return it. And again, they wanted to make sure, and they called the timeout.
Well, the new snapper, you get a look at him right there. Colin Ashton.
He's a linebacker, and he's played football last year. He played in ball games. As he gives you an extra guy down the field to make the tackle. And Frank Beamer studied him before the ball game. Every coach times the other snapper and punter, and they're going to make a decision whether they're going to come after this punt or try to get a big return.
It looks as though that Virginia Tech will not lead the center position uncovered. And of course, the rule that came about, what was it, about 3 years ago, you have to count hit at least 1,001. You can't hit the center.
Well, Ron, they're showing both their corners in tight. Nobody on the outside receivers. Not a fake them going outside.
Line drive kick, but it hit the ground, and Johnson has to run away with it. And the pass to Bill Haskett that goes inside the 10-yard line at the 6. So let's take a timeout. Our score remains Virginia Tech on top, 10-7, 53-yard punt as you look at the Lincoln Memorial. It's a BCA Classic. Virginia Tech against #1 preseason ranked USC. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Erin Andrews. And speaking of Erin, she is down on the sideline with a very important interview. Erin?
That's right, Ron. I'm here right now with Senator George Franklin. He's out, or George Allen. I'm talking to Ron Franklin up there. I'm so sorry, Senator. You're having a great time right now.
Yep.
You lobbied very hard for Virginia Tech to get into the ACC. Why did you want them in the ACC?
Because it's so important that the non-revenue sports are in a good conference that makes money like the ACC, and it's great for all of Virginia and the opportunities for the student athletes and other sports at Virginia Tech.
What was your initial reaction when they were denied access into the ACC?
Well, I thought it was illogical. Virginia Tech ought to be in with UVA. They do a lot of research, coordination, collaboration between the University of Virginia, Wake Forest, Duke, Georgia Tech. And so I wanted them to be in a strong conference, and it all did finally work out.
Now, you're a former Virginia quarterback. What kind of reaction did you get from the alumni when you teamed up with your in-state rival?
They thought I got sacked and maybe got too many concussions. But I think most of them realized for the whole Commonwealth of Virginia was very good.
Mazzetta with the catch of the night, 20 yards, as the tight ends have literally put on a show tonight. And the vertical game, as far as Virginia Tech is concerned, has been devastating against SC.
They got Mazzetta on a linebacker, Dallas Sarks, and he's open, and he plays out and makes a great concentrated catch.
Boy, Jeff King with a couple of really nice grabs tonight. And now Jared Mazzetta, a redshirt senior out of Flemington, New Jersey, 6'4", 248. Running play, this is Hamilton, and he is close to an 8-yard gain on that play. Our thanks to Senator Allen for coming by, and of course, for those who don't know, he is the son of former Redskin head coach George Allen. As you see his name and the honors that he has been paid and the respect here in this city for a long tenure and also a job well done with the Washington Redskins. Boy, Virginia Tech started with their worst field position of the night, and right now they have it a second down and short just across midfield. Randall sets in the pocket, pressure, put it away, and he does. And it's Swagger, Jim Swagger, a freshman out of San Jose. And it's the first time, Mike, that they have gotten to a Trojan or to a Virginia Tech quarterback tonight.
Jeff Swagger, when we were out watching practice, they said he had some tremendous potential. He comes inside and makes a sack of Brian Randall. That may be the biggest play USC's had tonight, because at this point, Virginia Tech is just doing at will what they want to do.
Tech leads it by 3. We're about to hit the 5.5-minute mark of this third quarter. It has gone rapidly. Quarterback draw. Randall, touchdown, touchdown, and he will have the first down. 16 yards of the play, and he was sacked, and he'll have the first down plus 3.
Give Brian Steinspring, the offensive coordinator, a lot of credit. Kevin Rogers also used to be at Syracuse and Notre Dame with Bob Davie as the offensive coordinator, called the plays. But that's an excellent play call against the USC defense.
John Kinzer, the fullback, number 43, with an excellent block on the play. And it is 1st and 10, and the new line of scrimmage is the 44 of the Trojans.
98 yards rushing for Brian Randall.
See the safety creeping up, showing the blitz. He's going to go long at the far sideline, and the ball is caught in that timing.
Maybe an interference on this play, and maybe an offensive interference, because I saw some hands come out, and they may call on Josh Hyman. USC was lost, and the corner was lost in the play. Ronald Nunn. I tell you, the coaches of Virginia Tech are on the field not happy with that call.
When you see the replay, though, you will see that he not only pushed off, he probably saved an interception because of the angle of where the ball was thrown, Mike.
That was big. We've had some big plays here. Watch the hands. I don't know. I saw the hands, but I don't think the effect. I think Nunn just ran by the play.
You're right.
I think Frank Beamer is standing on the sideline. He wants the explanation.
Well, he raced what would have been a very, very big play. And after looking at the replay, I think Frank does have a big beat. New line of scrimmage, the 41-yard line of Virginia Tech. They got a first down at 25. Option play, nothing here.
Better job on the option in the second half by USC. Sean Cody, who was the first big recruit of Pete Carroll, kind of held that class together when Pete Carroll came into USC, made the play.
Crowd still lingering with some boos here at FedEx Field.
Frank's still not over. He thinks about, I could be on the 20. Now I'm back on my own 40.
52 yards erased by penalties tonight. The field position, as far as this play and where that play would have ended up, that's more than 52. Going to be sacked at the 35-yard line. Lawrence Jackson and Mike Patterson. Second time that they've gotten to him tonight.
Here's the play and the interference call. His right hand may have hit the back and he may have pushed off. Doesn't look like much contact there.
So it's third down.
And Frank Beamer knows that one play has turned the motion of this football game a little bit.
Cedric Humes is the tailback. Randall under pressure again, just throws this one away.
That play, Ron, again, go back to that play because now you're in scoring territory and you get all the way back up. USC defense got a lot of juice and they're feeling good about themselves right now. We'll see what USC's offense comes on the field and does.
Pete Carroll out on the field, and Pete trying to say, I think that he didn't believe that Randall was outside the tackle box when he delivered the ball.
Well, the one thing about coaches in the first game, you're going to get it from both sides if you're an official.
Burns to get this kick away around his own 25-yard line. Reggie Bush is the deep man. Left footer too. This a long diving kick, but very returnable if he can catch it. Bush has to get it on the first bounce at the 5. 20, 25, and finally knocked down hard at around the 34-yard line. Blake Warren on the stop, so it's 59 on the kick and 29 on the return.
College football Saturday primetime. Brought to you by Speed Stick 24/7. Maximum protection 24/7. And Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
So the fountains that you're looking at, the beautiful World War II Memorial. USC's second best starting field position of the night on that return by Reggie Bush. Bush will come to the sideline, and in fact, the trainers were stretching him out. I don't know if he's got the signs of some cramps or what, but Lindell White will come in at tailback. Smith in motion. Looks off the corner, throw to a wide open Lee Webb, and the fullback comes out of the 45 to the 47-yard line. That's good for 14 yards. Warren on the stop.
Good call by North Child. First down, throwing the football. It's a little dump off. They tried to throw deep down the field. The fullback slips out. Lee Webb wide open in the flat. Now he picks up some additional yardage. This is we've been talking about different big series, but you'd think that the offense would feed off the emotion of the defense. Reggie Bush set out.
They're going to go on top, but here they go. Isolation, Bush, goodbye, touchdown, Shelby Cobb, 53 yards. Jimmy Williams, they toasted him.
Till they went up on top of Jimmy Williams. He's a safety last year, 6'3". They're going to make sure he can turn with those hips and run with a fast guy like Reggie Bush.
Ryan Colleen to attempt the extra point. And make it a 4-point lead. And he got it. He got to yank that kick. But Mike, show us the all-22. What do you got?
When you have a player like Reggie Bush, you can move him outside. Now, he's a tailback against Jimmy Williams. Now, that's Williams right there, 6'3". They're going to air him out, and he doesn't move very well. Jimmy Williams, he didn't get his hips turned. And all of a sudden, Reggie Bush ran right by him. That's the first time they've been able to take advantage of the long play. And a very good play by Matt Leinart.
Mike, both touchdowns tonight have come from Reggie Bush. Both times they sent him out of the backfield. Last time they worked him into the middle for that middle screen, but this time they just left him out there and he flew.
You know, I remember what Norm Chow said. He said, Reggie Bush told him, he said, I'm not a wide receiver. I'm a tailback. Well, tonight he's a wide receiver. And his nickname is the President. Washington, D.C. He's doing pretty well for the President.
Constituency is wild about it right now, I can tell you that. With 1:55 left to play in the third, Jimmy Williams talking to the coaches upstairs, and bless his heart, that can't be a kind conversation. Did his best, but Bush just ran right by him. Colleen will kick it off. Oh, we have seen some good kickers in this ball game tonight. And the kickoffs and also field goals. One was missed, but this kickoff here, 8 yards deep for the end zone. Special teams coaches love that.
Ron, in the evening of the Republican convention in New York City, we have two presidents in Washington. George W. Bush, our leader of the free nation. He's been in term 4 years. Reggie's a little younger, only 2 years. Mr. Bush is a conservative. Reggie's a tailback. Known as Mr. President, Reggie just the president. Second term, George Bush is seeking the end zone for Reggie Bush, and he's hit it twice.
Not many campaign dollars on that either. Big pressure, going to have to hurry. Running for his life, and this time they got him wrapped up after a gain of about 1.5 yards. It's Lawrence Jackson, the redshirt freshman out of Inglewood, California.
Well, we talked about that one play turned this entire game around. Defense closed the occasion. The offense hit them on a bomb.
And it's taken the crowd, a huge partisan crowd. But for the moment it has.
That's
it's
the
taken
play
the crowd
of the
out of
game.
it. It is, yeah. Jesse Allen comes in at fullback, number 37. He's a redshirt freshman out of Monson, Massachusetts. That's Royal in motion. Boy, they'd love to get the ball in his hands, but they hand it off to Humes, and he's going to be shy of the first down. And now, Mike, I think as a flag has come in, very huge down if there is no penalty to change the down right here.
It's either offside or 6 men on the line of scrimmage again. 6 men. Offside.
Illegal shifts against the offense. They weren't set for 1 second prior to a man going in motion. Penalty 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
It looked like in the backfield, Ron, somebody was moving. May have been either Royal,
You know,
number 4.
unless See, I thought he was in motion.
He came in motion.
Did he? Did he
Looks
cut
like
up?
he stopped, and then he
Started again.
moved a little bit too soon.
Jeff King, the tight end, flips over to the left side. He'll hit behind the line of scrimmage. Actually brings it out across the 20-yard line. And Oscar Lua, sophomore out of Indio, California, is there to make the tackle.
Excuse me, I was talking about the alarm clock. The alarm clock went off when that penalty was called on that pass play. It didn't go off for the halftime. That was the play. The alarm clock was heard by the USC players.
Well, let's see if the defense, they seem to be drawing from the situation. They can come up with a stop here. It's third down, and they got to take the ball all the way out to the 30-yard line. 2 seconds, 1 second. That is the end of the third quarter. So they got time to think it over. The big third down play as we head to the final 15 minutes. They're standing at... So we are back, and you see the scoring by quarters. SC scored first, 7-3. The Virginia Tech came back and led at halftime, 14-7, or 10-7, I should say, turning some heads. And now number one, SC has come back to lead it by 4, 14-10. Mike, what are you doing here, Virginia Tech, right here?
Tight ends been open all evening. They got Jeff King in the ball game. Get the ball to Jeff King.
Southern Cal showing blitz, and they do come off the edge. Throws it and has it complete to number 12, Richard Johnson.
Good tackle by Wyatt. Ron, just a minute ago, Virginia Tech was driving for another score. They got this bad call against Hyman. Then Liner comes back, finds the president in Washington, D.C. for a home run. And now USC has got the lead. Liner's happy. The USC people are in the ball game. The crowd has gone.
And here's the punt by Virginia Tech. Boy, not a good kick. Off the side of his foot. And it's going to bound. Now it's taking a huge Virginia Tech bounce. And that's going to go dead at the 25-yard line. So again, one of those kicks where aesthetically it left a lot to be desired, but the result was extremely good. 48 yards on the kick. So now the big thing as far as Virginia Tech is concerned, I know we're early in the fourth quarter, but don't be surprised because Pete really loves to run the football. If they can continue to run and all of a sudden get that thing inside of 10 minutes.
I'd go back to Wendell White right now, the tailback that's had a pretty good first half. Let him start to run the football.
Play action, throws it out to his tight end on the toes, and he's going to be tackled after a short game. We talked about Alex in the first half, and the fact that when he came to school, he weighed 305 pounds. And so he started losing some weight, but he said it was very difficult. And you were standing there with me. I remember asking him, I said, why was it so hard? And he said, my mom is Greek. And he said, she is a great cook. A great Greek cook. You don't deny them the opportunity for them to serve you their food. And he said, the coaches would fuss at me, but I just keep on eating because her power was
That's why he was 300 pounds as a freshman.
Was hit his last 6 passes, now making 7 in a row. That is Steve Smith on the receiving end of that one, and he is short by just about a yard. Vincent Fuller is there to make the hit.
Now Virginia Tech's defense got to step up here. They played well this whole night, except for that last home run that was thrown to the president.
I'm not so sure that Vincent Fuller didn't shake himself up a little bit. May have just gotten either got the funny bone or something. You can see he is still working on that hand.
You can see the adjustments by USC. One big play to Bush that by Liner in the past that they beat Jimmy Williams, but you see the yardage pretty even.
He's short just by inches. And we were talking about Fuller. You see the trainer is right there to work on that right arm, so he did sting it just a bit, and it appears he's going to be out for at least a play. And Beatty, he's already out. tore a muscle in that right arm, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed that it's not one that is bad enough to require surgery, but I'm sure torn muscles, I don't really know how you attend to them any other way. 15 of 24, 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wendell White hit at the line of scrimmage by Vince Hall. I don't think he got him here.
Oh, he didn't get close. Good surge by the Virginia Tech defense. Beat the offensive line. Vince Hall was in there, number 9.
Southern Cal has gone for 1 4th down situation in this ball game, and they were unsuccessful.
Not this one.
Not this one here. They're not going to chance it.
Eric Green had a shot at the last punt. He was close to blocking Malone's last punt. Let's see if they go after him.
4th punt of the night by Tom Malone. He has averaged 45.7, as long as 53. There's Johnson. He's the lone deep man for Virginia Tech.
Eric Green's right over there.
Line drive. Landover in now. And with the bounce, we're not going to have a return on it. And it is dead at the 29. Jimmy Williams is the man who had a shot at blocking it, and now we've got a flag down. Well, let's wait and see.
A lot of conferences in this city.
Legal formation on the offense. Only 6 men on the line. Penalty will be declined. The 1st down, Virginia Tech, TV timeout.
See, that's the first one that they've called on Southern Cal tonight, but a total of about 5.
Every coach that's at home watching this game is going to work on that tomorrow in practice.
So let's take a timeout. To the BCS Football Classic, or the BCA, I should say. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, Aaron Andrews. And for people that thought that this football game would not be close tonight, well, think again. But a huge drive coming up right here for the Hokies of Virginia Tech, who trail 14-10. Hamilton back in the ball game, hit at the line of scrimmage, and this time will have nothing. Darnell Bean came up from his free safety position. By the way, good news as far as Southern Cal fans are concerned. Number 58, Lawrence Atupu, who left the ball game back in the 3rd quarter because of dehydration. You see him running out of the locker room, and he has just come back out on the field. Atupu with 6 tackles in this ball game tonight. As we mentioned earlier, he had 20 in the opener last year against Auburn. 2nd and 13. Blitz coming off the corner. Randall going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage, and they'll lose 2, maybe 3 more.
Tried to draw play, the quarterback draw. USC brought the short side corner on the blitz. Darnell Bing brought Ronald Nunn on the blitz, but they were ready for the draw.
Mike Patterson is the man who came through, but as Mike said, take a little bit of a, not really as much of a gamble when you take the short side corner on the blitz, and it really sealed it off from the back. 3rd down and 15. Line to make is the 39.5-yard line. Randall, deep over the middle, the ball is tipped, knocked away, there's a flag.
Right in front of the Virginia Tech bench. Darnell Bing's going to be called on the back of Josh Hyman. Pass interference.
Holding on 24 defense. Since it was a pass across the line on an eligible receiver, it's a 10-yard penalty with an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, they're calling Justin Miles for holding the receiver.
Richard Johnson coming off the line of scrimmage. That's the call right here on holding on Wyatt. Bing also was over the back. Pete Carroll's looking for the instant replay.
From the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Zings it and caught for the tight end team. I mean, the tight ends have caught anything that was absolutely close to them. 17 yards.
They can't stop the tight end attack coming across the middle. And Jeff King, his big target, is 6'5", 263 pounds. See how he runs and his hands able to bring in that football. The strength of the tight end position at Virginia Tech is strong.
So all of a sudden, from rags to riches here. Can they make it an even better situation as they have a 1st and 10 in Southern Cal territory, almost at the 48. That's a career high for King as far as catches and yards. Randall, here comes pressure. Runs up into the pile, now throws it away, and it is incomplete. That's a great effort trying to get it to Justin Hamilton. But it was Rucker who made the opening tackle tonight, and I don't remember calling his name since then. Do you?
No, Rusty Rucker, toe injury, only practiced one time during two-a-days. We talked about him going to Colorado State first. He said it was cold up there, and so he ventured back to L.A. Long arms, tough defensive end, 6'4".
Tustin, California. So with the incompletion, clock is stopped. 9:49 left of our ball game. Frank Beamer staring up at the clock. Not his enemy as of yet, but he trails by 4. Quick pass, got it right over the middle. That's complete to Johnson. Richard Johnson, a redshirt senior out of Catawba, North Carolina. And now here's a flag from deep downfield. And Sean Cody, preseason All-American, is limping off the field toward the near sideline.
That may be a personal foul on Darnell Bing.
Dead ball. Personal foul on number 20 on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the pass. Automatic 1st down.
This is a good call because sometimes when the play's over, Darnell Bing's going to come in here and take a shot right here on Chris Clifton, the former high school quarterback. USC, maybe you're losing a little poise.
Let me tell you something,
defense.
Mike, put an asterisk by that one because with 9:42 left to play, an unthinking personal foul against Bing. They get a new set of downs, and the ball is now inside the 30. Behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be sacked. May have gotten back to the line, but Mike Patterson with still another tackle tonight. He's had a great game.
Ron, I'm impressed with Brian Randall. He knows when to throw the football. He knows when to pull it down. I was watching the secondary. Everything was pretty well covered, so he didn't put the ball, didn't force it in. He took the extra yard that he's going to go down. He didn't make a mistake.
Here they come with a 2nd down and 10. They did give him forward progress back to the original line of scrimmage. 14-10. Number 1 Southern Cal leads. About to go under 8 minutes to play in our ball game. Got in the flat. That's Hamilton. Hit immediately and then hit again by the 2nd tackler, who will stop him shy of the 25. Good and good, and will get credit for the tackle along with Justin White. And now it's going to be 3rd down and a player down for Virginia Tech, who was downfield blocking at around the 14-yard line.
Ron, you're right. Justin Wyatt with a good tackle, because anytime you get that ball in the flat, that's like a toss sweep to the tailback, and he made a good tackle.
Chris Clifton is the man who was down that the trainers have come on the field to administer aid to. You know, I started the story back in the first half, and to complete it, Frank Beamer said, hey, I'll play in this ball game, but I'm not going to play Southern Cal 1 week and then go to LSU the next. So what happened is LSU is the thing. They said, hey, help us get a ball game. We'll move yours to 07. Well, what happened is the game we've got on the air next week, Oregon State said, hey, we'll come down and play you. So we're going to Baton Rouge next Saturday, 1 week from tonight, and we'll have the Beavers taking on co-national champion LSU next week.
Yeah, I don't understand why Frank didn't want to play USC 1 week and LSU next. He could tell us who's best.
8th play, starting at the 30.
Virginia Tech best.
I'm not sure if Frank wants any part of this inside stuff. No reality for him. Not in television anyway. Randall over the middle. Oh, he misfired. He had him wide open. Richard Johnson had just come open and look at Randall. Oh, my goodness.
Sometimes you're moving to the right and you throw across your body and it just takes off on you, and that's what happened to Brian Randall. He's not going to have a more open wide receiver all year than Richard Johnson was on that play.
Brandon Pace out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, comes in to attempt the field goal, and this is going to be an attempt of 42 yards. Lance Goff is the holder. Good pass, good direction, good distance. We got a 1-point ball here. So let's take a timeout, 7:50.
Football Saturday Primetime. Brought to you by the completely reinvented vehicles from the new Subaru. Driven by what's inside.
World War II Memorial here in Washington, D.C. as we prepare to kick it off. Now a 1-point ball game, and a young man who is very pleased tonight, Brandon Pace, attempting those field goals. He has hit 2 tonight, his first 2 ever. The ADT National Championship Trophy. That's the one that LSU owns as the co-national champion. SC, the other co-national champion. The belly will kick it off. Good high kick. Bush is going to take it. 1-yard beat. Reggie Bush before he got to the 15, and it's going to be left down hard by Stevie Ray Lloyd, the reserve linebacker. On the ESPN USA Today top 10 poll, as of today, Southern Cal followed by the Sooners, LSU, Georgia, Miami, the Seminoles, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State, and Florida.
Same cast of characters at the end of the season last year. One team, I'm going to say, West Virginia's got a great schedule. Have to go to Virginia Tech, but everything else falls in line for them. And somebody can take control of that Big East without Miami, Virginia Tech in it.
Quick pass, down and out in the flat. Guess who? Reggie Bush. Couldn't get that one going, though. And this time, Jimmy Williams says, come back out here again. You burned me last time, but come back to my neighborhood. I won't talk to you.
They kept him in front of him. The president got behind him on the last one. Just to raise up and throw the ball out to Reggie. And good tackle by Jimmy Williams.
See the numbers on Lambert, 16 of 25. White, the big running back, is going to take it out close to the first down, but he's not quite there. You can see where our 1st and 10 yellow line is, and he's short of it.
Ron, one thing that Norm Chow does at USC, they alternate their splits to the wide receivers. And a lot of people are playing 8-man fronts now. Look at how tight the wide receivers are. They're able to block the 8th and 9th men on the defensive side. So that's why they can run the ball a little bit better. Keep tight splits with the wide receivers.
That liner comes back out with the play. Play clock is down to 5 and now down to 4. And he'll go with a quarterback sneak, and he's going to have the first down as he'll take it to the 25 behind the block of his center, Ryan Khalil.
It's what you expect out of the #1 team in the country. Bud Foster is throwing everything but this kitchen sink at him right now. But you expect them, when you have a lead, to be able to milk that 6:18 off the clock. And you got a coach on the field in Matt Leinart.
Lindale White, the lone setback, continues to work at tailback. Ryder going to go on top. Puts the man under the pin. Got a man. Smith. Steve Smith inside the 30-yard line at the 29. Tackled by Eric Green. And just like that, a gain of 46 yards. And give credit to that offensive front of Baker, Drake, Khalil, Matua, and Latui.
What made that play was the fake of Matt Liner and the speed of Steve Smith getting down the boundary against the linebacker, James Anderson. That flipped the field.
Reggie Bush comes into the ball game at tailback. Ryder. Oh, looking for Bush, and nobody covered him. No touchdown to the back. Reggie Bush.
Well, nicknamed the president, he's getting a lot of votes here tonight for an outstanding football player in this football game. Well-designed football play. Brought him out of the backfield, and one of the linebackers slipped in coverage.
Actually, he tripped over the receiver who took it back in across the middle. Extra point attempt is up, and it's good by Colleen. And let's take a timeout. Reggie Bush, 3 touchdowns here tonight. And right now, number 1, Southern California. 21-13, 5:35 remaining.
When you get inside the 35-yard line, Norm Child knows he's going to get a blitz, and he's going to get man-for-man coverage on Bush from a linebacker, Blake Warren. And you watch the wide receiver come inside. Blake Warren trips on the outside. Bush is wide open for the touchdown. He knew and anticipated the call, and he anticipated the man-for-man coverage. He was right. Reggie Bush gets a touchdown. Matt Leinert's happy. And USC is protecting their #1 ranking.
Boy, I'll tell you something. The man who went across the middle was supposed to take that defender out of the play, but Warren tripped over his feet. He didn't trip him, and as it turned out, it was almost a double squeeze. 5 yards deep in the end zone, going to be turned. This is Warren. And the player of the year of the state of Virginia last year, from 5 yards deep, probably shocked his coaches by bringing it out. You could see it didn't take him long to get to the 30-yard line. Checked out on the sideline with Aaron Andrews. Aaron.
Well, Ron, like you said, Reggie Bush has all 3 touchdowns for USC, and there's no better way to watch them than on high definition. Now, on ESPN HD, you can see the new season in a new way. High definition's amazing clarity and wider picture will make you feel like you're at the game. If you haven't experienced ESPN HD, go to your local Best Buy and ask to see a Philips HD TV and get ready for your seat on the sideline. Ron?
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much. 1st and 10 for the Hokies, and now the clock does become Frank Beamer's enemy. A short yardage. Grittigood is the man who comes up and makes the hit.
Ron, Washington, D.C., the eve of the Republican convention, and Mr. Bush right here is having a big night for USC. He's been the player of the game and came up with all the big plays in Washington. So, that old movie where the 48 Hours, I believe, when Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy said there's a new sheriff in town. There's a new sheriff, Reggie Bush.
Tell you what, I think everybody knew about his being deputized last year also. First ball that the tight end has dropped tonight, and he has good reason. It was tipped just before it got to him. Jason Leach got a hand up on it.
I think back on what Frank Beamer said. He wanted his team to be excited in spring practice, summer practice, fall practice, to take on the #1 team in the country. His team has played very well. They're a young football team. Next year is when their year is going to be, but they have played great football tonight.
3rd down, the line to make is out at the 40. Randall steps up, drills it, and this one too high. Intended for Hyman. He is really fortunate that the ball was not intercepted by Leach, who was really the closest guy to it.
A little too high by Brian Randall. A little bit more pass rush by USC here in the fourth quarter. This game turned on that one play. The pass interference call. That was the biggest play in this football game.
Mike, and also the situations like Southern Cal has had a spy on Randall in the second half. They have not allowed him to kill him on scrambles.
No running ability in the second half. Good adjustment by Pete Carroll.
Left footer's kick. Watley's foul, going to be caught on the run at the 31. Bush again. And Reggie will take it just short of the 40-yard line. 37 on the kick and 8 on the return. So let's take a break. 21-30. Immediately followed in our ball game. First and 10, Southern California. Ryder throws it immediately, hit immediately, and maybe a yard loss on the play as David Kirkman did a good job of holding on to the football because Vince Hall was right there.
Yeah, Ron, Matt Leiner's had a big ball game. You expect the Heisman candidate and the All-American quarterback to take over. You look at this in the second half, 11 of 12 for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's very fortunate Reggie Bushman on the bus in the plane for the bus over here.
No question about it. You said in the first half he was forcing the issue, trying to do too much. And in the second half, only missing one pass. This is White going to take it for a gain of 3, maybe 4.
3 touchdowns by Reggie Bush. Here's the first one, the screen. Reggie Bush takes it to the end zone, untouched. Come back, hit him on a street route where he beat Jimmy Williams. And then when he come out of the backfield, the linebacker tripped. The president had a big night in Washington.
Joe Bush with 3 touchdowns tonight, and that is the difference. 21-13 as we have 3:05 to play. SC is 6 of 12 on third down conversion. Over the middle, Steve Smith just dropped it. Steve Smith had it hitting right between, well, not between the numbers because he wears a single piece, but he hit him right on the numbers.
And you know, when you look at this, we talked about the question marks being the offensive line, the young wide receivers. I think the young wide receivers are still a question mark.
I couldn't agree with you more because Dwayne Jarrett, it's almost like they've had to take him in the second half, had to kind of take him out of the play call.
Remember what Erin Andrews said? She talked about how they tried to go to the hotel, but you can't imagine what the first night is for a freshman football player.
Tom Malone with his 5th punt of the night. And you know Virginia Tech will come after here. Driving stop. All the way back to the 5-yard line, Richard Johnson.
He's in trouble.
Super coverage as he tried to make the wedge on the far side of the field. He had too far to run. 51 on the kick, only 3 on the return.
Reggie Bush, the most valuable player in this football game, 8 rushes for 24 yards. They used him in a lot of different spots tonight. He was wide receiver, came out of the backfield, 5 catches for 127 yards. A big, big evening for Reggie Bush.
Joe, there was a flag. It looks like they're going to make him do it again after that 51-yard kick. You know, a little guy I wanted to see play tonight, and they didn't get him on the field. But that's the guy who's the number 4 tailback. He's not number 3, but Desmond Reed was the star of the scrimmage when we were in Los Angeles. You talk about a kid that makes things happen. You'll hear that name a lot out of Southern Cal.
They had 4 tailbacks. They have so much depth at that position. But Reggie Bush is more than a tailback. He's got such great hands. You can isolate him against linebackers, put him against the corner, and he becomes the best receiver on the team.
Our guys are isolating because he's one of the gunners, number 22, Reed, on the bottom of the screen, closest to the sideline. I don't see how in the world they missed that one. Another flag is down. He lets it go, and this thing's going to go dead. This better be against Southern California, or Frank Beamer's going to strangle somebody.
Better be offside or...
Desmond Reed is the man who got downfield and made the recovery on the special teams, the youngster we were just talking about.
We're picking up the hymnals anyway, but this would seal it.
Well, they're going to do it again. This was a 59-yard kick. His first one was 51 yards.
When you have a punt rush team like Virginia Tech coming after you, somebody is moving in there. They were trying to get a quick step. And Malone, the punter, is saying, hey, sit still. I'm tired of doing this.
Look at his special team for Coach Beamer, though. A couple of the guys were on their knees. I mean, they're getting tired. They've already covered 2 distance jobs.
They came very close to blocking that punt.
Jimmy Williams is the man who almost got it. So they'll try it again.
Jimmy Williams is going to have another shot at this one.
Tom Malone standing this time back at the 17. Stood in there and knocked it. Not for the turnover. The catch is made at the 26. And Johnson finally pushed out of bounds at around the 35. And Jimmy Williams again had a shot at making the recovery. Sports Center coming up next immediately following the ball game. We're at 2:21 left to play in our contest. Good look at Malone. Like I said, when we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, I said, what in the world do you work on when you average 49 a kick? And he said, I worked on finesse kicking and also in getting the kick away quicker. Runs by one defender, now drills the ball, and that is going to be incomplete. One other number to give you that shows you how hard they work on special situations. Frank Beamer has been there in the first 17 years at Virginia Tech. Defense and special teams have scored 88 touchdowns.
A lot of touchdowns, a lot of field positions been changed by that man. He's one of the best coaches in the country, Frank Beamer.
Brian Randall with the group to Southern California this past year. Athletes in action was close to the SC campus. And thought then, dreamed about this football game as that pass is incomplete and David Clowney just simply dropped it.
Brian Randall has gained in confidence tonight. When he threw that pass and the penalty on the pass interference, I think this game changed. And that on that play, I'll believe that when I leave the stadium tonight. Brian Randall was getting it done for Frank Beamer. Without Marcus Fick on this football team, Brian Randall has to deliver every week for this team.
Randall now has missed his last 5 passes. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left. Randall is sacked. And it's Mike Patterson. Patterson with the sack. Boy, he's had an outstanding ball game. And Nunn makes the recovery. Well, they say 6 tackles for Patterson. Boy, it seems like he's got more than that.
Again, we talked about stripping. He punched that ball out. Ronald Nunn recovers the fumble. But Brian Randall has nothing to be ashamed of tonight. He came of age as quarterback.
Well, we were giving kudos to the defense of Virginia Tech and their special teams. I've never seen a team that worked harder on knocking the ball away from running backs and quarterbacks than Southern Cal does, and it pays off.
The men of Troy have a very good defense. They were challenged tonight. Virginia Tech was ready with a great game plan by the offensive coaches.
Coach Wallen's going over the top with his quarterback, following the turnover, and then they'll White goes straight ahead. Right now, Southern Cal is not interested in coming up with anything as far as points as Virginia Tech calls a timeout. They just want to get on the plane and head back to Southern California. But the clock is stopped at 1:55. We'll take a timeout. So we're back as you take a look at the Southern Cal Trojans, the fellows on defense. And Mike, this pretty well sums it up. As we look at the defenders on the sideline, we've just been handed the numbers, and only 75 second-half yards did they allow Virginia Tech. That's a heck of an effort. White being pushed back here, and they'll give him forward progress to the 26-yard line. Blake Warren on the tackle.
We have been able to see USC tonight, one half of the national championship last year. We get to see LSU this coming Saturday against Oregon State. So we get to measure the progress of both these football teams.
Well, there are the numbers I was talking about. Virginia Tech 207, and well over half of that picked up by the young quarterback that you were just looking at, Randall on the sideline. But 75 yards they were limited to in the second half, and it really shot down the opportunities. Frank Beamer's team had some opportunities. I want to say hi to a young guy tonight because I know that his son Shane, who is a newly appointed assistant coach during the offseason down at Mississippi State. He's the defensive secondary coach, and I know that Shane is watching this ball game tonight, and I'm sure his heart is kind of heavy right now because he and his dad are very close. Shane Beamer's going to turn into a very good football coach as well.
He's probably watching tape because they got Tulane first off, so they may be working. But, Ron, when you look at Norm Chow, what he's done tonight, the adjustments you talked about it, Pete Carroll on defense, Norm Chow. Norm Chow's a guy that should get a head coaching job. There's a couple jobs in the Pac-10 that's got a possible chance of opening. That man would be a good head coach for somebody.
Well, he was at BYU. Just a long list of All-American quarterbacks at Philippines at NC State. Carson Palmer, Heisman Trophy winner at SC, and now he's got another one at 50 headed for a Heisman Trophy as Reggie Bush is the ball carrier here. And it'll bring up fourth down, but the biggest thing is it'll let this clock go down just as far as it will go. Because timeouts left, the Hokies cannot stop it anymore.
When you look at this, Virginia Tech, USC both have schedules, and they get a little bit of a break. After this ball game, here's USC's schedule. They get Colorado State at home. They got to go to BYU, Stanford. Cal's a team out there that everybody figures may challenge USC in the Pac-10. Arizona State, Washington, both at home. A schedule that you can go through and be representing the country in the national championship game. They got Notre Dame at home, UCLA on the road. Pretty good schedule for the Trojans.
So the clock is stopped at 59. Sports Center coming up next, immediately following this one. And the Trojans did just what we thought. They ran it down as far as it would go. If I had to guess what Pete Carroll is thinking here tonight, he's really glad that this ball game was as tight as it was, because we were out in Southern California and watched their scrimmage. The offense really did not have a very good day, and after the scrimmage was over, Norm Chow had his head hanging, and the head coach walked up and said, you know, the offense has been getting a little cocky. We need to bring them back down to earth today. And I have a feeling that maybe this whole team, Pete feels as though maybe they were a little higher or thinking better of themselves than they should have been. This was a wake-up call this evening.
Pete Carroll's a big believer in blessing your football team. He's a positive guy that the players enjoy playing for.
So Colleen is going to attempt the field goal. This will be an attempt just over 40 yards. Good pass. He got it. So 54 ticks on the clock.
Ron, the college football stories this year, I think, is Mike Williams' ineligibility I still think the NCAA made the right ruling, wrong timing. Big Ten going to have instant replay this year. Who takes over in the Big East without Miami and Virginia Tech in there? West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Syracuse have a chance to run that league. The ACC now, who owns the ACC with Miami and FSU? The Spurrier shadow, the Spurrier factor. Every time a coach loses a game this year, on the talk show, they're going to be saying, Steve Spurrier, we're going to go get Steve Spurrier. That's going to hang over every coach this year. And Sylvester Croom, we met him. I think he's going to do a superb job at Mississippi State. They hired the right guy. He's excellent.
Well, some of the long faces and a few little smiles across the way by Virginia Tech. Always tough to lose. And this is now going to be 5 of their last 6 when you include the way they finished last year. But they did have a chance in this ball game, and a couple of breaks that did not go in their direction. And a superior job offensively as Southern Cal took advantage of 2 situations that came up with push touchdowns. And that's the difference in the ball game. Well, this is Hyman who's going to return it, and Hyman is not even going to make it to the 15-yard line. Eric Wright making the tackle. Sports Center coming up immediately following the ball game. Next Saturday night, if you look at Matt Leinart and a smile on his face, he'll be down in Baton Rouge for the LSU Bengal Tigers in their home debut of this 04 season, taking on the Beavers of Oregon State. Intercepted by Tutupu, who also had an interception in this ballgame, and maybe that is something that we forgot about.
Ron, this game turned around on this play. This was the biggest play of the evening right here. Virginia Tech going in to score, had the lead, and all of a sudden this game turned on this play.
Tutupu had an interception that stopped the drive that was going very well for Virginia Tech back in the first half. I think he also got to put a star by that one as far as things that happened that didn't go right for the Hokies. Near sideline, caught this time by Clowney. Sophomore out of Delray Beach. Clock now runs with 32 and 31 seconds. Just trying to figure. They gained 3 hours. Just trying to figure out what time the Trojans are going to get back to the City of Angels. It's going to be very, very early in the morning.
They'll be happy.
People were hollering for a turnover there, but actually the shovel pass going to Humes. It'll pick up the first down with 7 seconds remaining. And Pete Carroll is saying, get off the field, guys, because they can still snap the ball one more time. It's kind of like the relay swimmer who jumped in the water in celebration. The relay wasn't over, and the winning team was disqualified. Now it runs down, and it is Southern California who gets off to a good start. They got a bit of a scare by this man's ball club, Frank Beamer, but they come from behind and win it 24-13. So our final score,